I'm a nobody, baby. Light me up, pour me up. I'm gone. Got me seeing genies in a bottle. Liquor got me feeling like a wrestler. Call me Santiago. Everyone listen when I speak. Don't know shit about shit, but I know ball.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? And welcome to Two Nobodies with the Mic, episode 131. Thank you, guys. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Instagram. We are the show, the people, man. So if you got any shit you need to talk, here is your chance. We are an interactive show. We are the gambling show of record. Ton of shit to gamble on. We got PGA event. We have NHL. And if you ain't on NHL playoffs, shame on you. NBA, baseball's kicked off. NFL draft should be a fun-filled and packed show. Only one rule, CJ, and I'll introduce you. What is that rule, CJ? Do you remember?
Don't be a loser.
Don't be a loser, man. Gamble responsibly. Don't be that freaking guy. So let's get into introductions. CJ, the exec producer for today, D1 athlete, Air Force Academy, baby, St. John Bosco, center to DJ Uyangalele. I mean, what else? CJ?
UCLA Bruin, baby.
Yeah, UCLA Bruin. Congrats on getting into UCLA. CJ, a very bright journalist career and political career. We're gonna be like, dude, we got that guy going. So that is CJ. I know it pisses off. I love pissing off.
Are we an hour into the show already?
No.
AKA skin tone. Let's not forget about the skin tone picks.
That's a great fucking great.
AKA
That's the best part of
stick to this show, and I got a skin tone pick for the NFL draft coming up.
Woo!
Here later.
Those skin tone picks, man. Obviously, the guru, Rafa the guru, golfer extraordinaire, man. If you don't know Rafa's journey, right? Rafa's journey as a golfer, has it been a year yet?
It was a year last week.
Wow. So yeah, Rafa, like me, I'm gonna say this, Rafa. You could agree or not. Very addictive personality. Yes or yes?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So Rafa started playing golf a year ago, and it's almost like he's been infected. Like, Arnold Palmer sucked on his neck and just.
But I gotta say.
Go ahead.
This is a compliment to both of y'all. Editing clips on a weekly basis, I just have seen the shrinkage of faces all across this podcast. I'm like, whoa! You go back in my computer, it's a whole transformation up in this month.
Thank you, Papa.
He had to go widescreen. Just
I had to go widescreen, and I can.
Let me tell you, Rafa and I were morphing into each other for like a year. Like we were just like almost
saw a video.
Same person.
I saw a video. Jackie sent it to me yesterday as a husband and wife.
Yeah,
and they lost like 100 something pounds. If Jay would have seen it on Instagram, he would have sent that over and said it was you and I.
Yeah.
It's 100% because I saw it yesterday. I would have sent it if I was Jay. I would have sent it.
Listen. I took my shirt off in Las Vegas at a pool, and didn't. The thing with Las Vegas pools, we went to WrestleMania. I didn't go to WrestleMania. I went to Vegas. Well, my sons went to WrestleMania. Usually my thing is at a Vegas pool is and I'm already short, right? So I have to get into the water immediately and kneel down. So I'm here, and the water is only 4 foot in the Vegas. So I can't just be like chest out, breasts out. But I was able to, not be as embarrassed as I have been the last 20 years. Rafa lost over, let's give it over 120 fucking pounds, man. The comments were, what do you guys just need to talk about taco eating contest, not about sports. I mean, they're all classic.
Yeah,
But
those
talk
have
about
shrunk.
shit.
Those have been
They've gone
less and
away.
less. They've gone away a little bit. We
Yeah,
still get
yeah.
some, but
Oh, we still,
Oh,
we
yeah,
still
yeah.
get hammered. I mean, listen, the internet is and social media is a hateful, hateful place.
It
But
is very
shout out to Rafa, shout out to me, shout out to whatever. But Rafa has been on a golf journey, man. 1 year, already he's broken 100. I believe you shot at 85 the other day.
yeah.
It's
Broke 90
wild.
today.
It's wild, Rafa, and we talked about why golf. I feel like it's taken over the world, man. My wife sends me golf memes. Every social media influencer has golf up. I saw a stupid thing today where they have mixed uh pickleball and golf. They're trying to get a pickleball and golf game. It's just I don't know why it's become so popular. I think it's
But
because of us, though. Actually,
Since we're on the topic, of golf, there
yes.
is a viral clip that I am trying to share.
Mhm.
But continue. It's these two dudes fighting on a golf course. But to continue to talk as I find it.
Oh,
That's the whole clip.
it happens more than you know, CJ. Listen, there's a lot of rules to golf. It's a gentleman's game. There's a lot of unwritten rules. What's our Asian follower? What's his name? The Asian Persuasion or what's his
Jameson?
Oh, Asian
No, no.
Saban. Asian
Oh.
Saban.
Asian Saban. Yeah,
Asian
Asian Saban. He is a great follow on Instagram. And
Phenomenal.
his rule of golf is if you're gonna suck fast.
Yeah, that's a
Here it is. Here's this video. I
Let's
gotta
see
share
this.
with both of you.
Here
Is
we
it
go.
playing?
It's frozen, but give it some time. We have time here.
It's not playing for you guys.
no.
No, is it playing for you?
It's playing for me, but it's not playing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not playing for.
Listen, see,
That sucks.
I trust. I bet you anything. Rafa and I have seen this. Our whole algorithm is golf. I have, my algorithm a year ago was Raiders, watches, Porsches, and wrestling. Now my algorithm is golf, a tiny bit of draft.
Here
but
it is.
Yeah, here we go. Put it up. Oh,
And it's just a pure ass. Oh gosh. What is this?
What's happening, CJ?
One
there
group
we
Here
go.
we go.
that the foursome ahead of them was playing too slow had hit a ball into the
Oh!
golf course in West Colombia.
Just ass whooping. Just a pure ass whooping. I just wanted to show you guys this. It's a quick clip.
So that happens. Listen, the thing is, so there's people that play, like Eddie said, and Asian Saban says it all the time. If you suck fast. And usually when you go out there and you see guys will let you play through. Like if you're playing faster, if you're a smaller group, let's say you're two guys, you can play faster. The thing is, you should never purposely hit up on somebody, because if you hit them in the head with a fucking golf ball, at 100 plus miles an hour, fucking gonna hurt somebody. So it's stupid to do it.
Have you
But
guys ever seen a fight on the course yourself?
No, we don't go to trashy places. So, but I'm usually pretty nice about it. I'm usually pretty nice. I usually because it annoys me. Like today, I finished 18 holes in under 3 hours at a course that's actually difficult.
I don't really know how
So
that is. Right
normal time, like the courses usually tell you 4 to 4.5 hours to finish 18. So and I finished today in under 3.
Nice.
Here's the thing, CJ, with the more popularity that golf is getting, the more crowded these courses are getting. You're getting a lot more. It's sort of like and I don't know if you guys we live in Southern California, and I don't know if you guys, in high school, have you guys ever seen Point Break? It's a very territorial thing, golf is. And Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, it's like in the same courses all the time, and it's like surfing. Like you get the same surfers at the same beach. It's a lot like the surfing golf is. You get the same golfers at the same courses, and then when they see new guys there, they're very territorial. And if they suck, if they're good, they won't say shit. They're like, "Oh fuck, these guys are good." But if you suck, they feel more empowered to be like, "Bro, get off my track. This is my place. I play here 3 times a week." So that's where this fighting shit comes in. And then you get a lot of guys that don't know the sort of etiquette and stuff. Like Rafa, you said you played in Burbank. There was a group of 4 kids sharing the same set of clubs. That should never. That's the course's fault.
Brutal. It was brutal, and the course literally said, they said at DeBell said, "Oh no, you can't. There's nothing we can do." And I'm like watching this shit.
Bullshit.
Yeah, we skipped them, so we ended up passing them on hole 4. We're like, we just picked up. We're like, dude, we're gonna play the next hole. We finished hole 5, 6, and 7, and it wraps back around to 8. And they were still on. They were just finishing 5 when we passed them on 4. And they're driving on the green, which you're not allowed to do, right? And they're driving right up on it because the carts there really don't have a restriction. And they're driving up on, like, they were just lost. And it's like, you know what? You know, that's where you're supposed to have a marshal and kind of let them know, hey, listen, you guys, number one, you can't have fucking one set of clubs for 4 guys. They're sharing a putter. They're sharing a drive. It's a shit show. It's a shit show. But it was young fucking kids, and they thought they owned that neighborhood. It was a shit show.
100%. But next up, we got to get into our favorite topic of the day, at least my favorite topic of the day, and that is you are fired. Fired! So, Eddie, who are you firing this week?
Well, let Eddie go last because I kind of know who Eddie's going to fire, and it'll lead into
okay. I didn't. Yeah, that's why I was wanting to go to him first.
It'll lead into a shit show. So I'm going to hire and fire somebody. So I'm going to hire someone real quick. It's a company. It's a brand. I had no clue until today. So I was wearing flip-flops and shorts today, and golf was kind of last minute. So I get to the course and I buy socks. I buy FootJoy socks. Okay. I put them on. Dude, fucking shout out to fucking FootJoy socks are fucking phenomenal. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They're fucking amazing. You know what they remind me of, Eddie? And I don't know if you ever wore them. What? I don't know if you ever wore them.
I was going to say.
Wear them. Go ahead.
Well, there's something about a great pair of socks. I'm a sock guy. Even though I match my socks color-wise, even though no one's going to see them, just in case. It has something to do with Biggie. Gucci down to the socks. Like, I just feel like just in case I need a flex on someone, my socks always match the fit. And if they're good socks and if they feel amazing, oh, come on, man.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. You know what they remind me of? And I don't know if you ever wore them. The NBA socks. I used to wear them to play basketball. And they used to sell them at Foot Locker. They were thicker on the bottom. It felt like almost a cushion. That's what these feel like. Fucking insane. I couldn't believe it. They were worth the $10. One pair was $10. It was fucking worth it.
$10? That's cheap.
For one pair of low-cut socks. They were great, though. They're fucking phenomenal. That's my hiring. And I'm going to fire. Okay. Listen, I don't watch wrestling anymore, as I stated last week. I watched the first match of WrestleMania on Saturday. It was a fucking yeet fucking turd.
Jay Uso.
Yeah, that yeet dude who seems not all there. And Gunther, right? And they had like this ongoing, the match is going, and all of a sudden he chokes him out in like 4 seconds and the match is over. That was the great ending you had to the heavyweight title match? Are you fucking kidding? Bro, dude, that's
how they kicked off the event.
That was awful. Awful. And but I understand it's they're one of their biggest guys, the yeet bullshit, the culture, blah 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 blah. And I see why young people, 15-year-olds to 30-year-olds kind of like him because of the culture that he's, he's more like a hip hop type culture type dude, right?
Yeah, him and Travis.
Yeah,
Scott.
Exactly. So, but that fucking match was awful. And for all these dudes to talk shit about old wrestlers and this and that. That shit was fucking awful. A 4-second choke for the fucking heavyweight title. That's how you fucking ended it. Fucking terrible writing. But you know, they fucking loved it. You know, that 61,000 people, the record-breaking numbers, most money ever. They did a great job. It shows you how fucking dumb we are.
Listen, you know, I was at the Fountain Blue. Fountain Blue hosted a Hall of Fame event. They hosted a roast. We ran into the biggest wrestlers in the WWE all weekend. We actually ran into Gunther, who from Austria. We sit down at a blackjack table. He sits down right next to us. And he sits down at third base too. So my wife is playing, another buddy, and Sonny's right there. And Sonny's just like losing his mind. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe Gunther's right there. I go, dude, sit down and play. Oh, Dad, I don't know. I'm like, dude, you will never get another shot to sit down with a Gunther 100%. Again. And dude, what I've noticed is that these guys stay in character. Good guy or bad guy, when you run into them, they kind of hold character. This guy, obviously, he's a big dude, big personality. My wife is they're all terrified. And he's the one playing third base, right, Rafa? He's the one who could fuck up everyone's hand.
Right.
They were so terrified of him. And he's playing $25 a hand, by the way. And it was just it was a cool weekend. Ran into Jey Uso, ran into his brother, ran into just a lot of different dudes. My daughter went to the gym Sunday morning, squatting right next to John Cena.
Whoa!
Right next to John Cena the whole time. She was.
I'm sorry. Can I just say what in that situation?
Go ahead.
I understand that you're not supposed to talk to them. I'm not. I'm doing it. I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to say something to you because there's no chance in hell that I see you ever again in my life. So how do you expect me to not say anything?
So by the way, it is Sunday night. He's the main event that night. I said you should have like when you know I mean she should have done something. By the way, Rafa, he wasn't wearing jorts.
Oh,
no
wow.
jorts in the.
Thank you.
But yeah, she didn't say. I thought it was good etiquette of her to not
100%.
say anything. But
Yes,
like you,
yes.
CJ, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
If
I would
I
have said
see
something.
I don't know if
in
Eddie
public,
says anything.
I'm saying something to him. I'm sorry.
I don't know if Eddie says
Bro.
anything. Eddie,
Oh,
we've heard
good
you
point,
choke
good point.
in front of Bryce
Bryce
Young.
Young.
You forgot his name. You forgot Bryce
did.
Young's name,
I did.
who
I
you've
did.
watched through high school
Yeah.
and college, and you forgot his fucking name.
That
So
is
if John
the
Cena's
biggest
there, you
to
probably
nobody's
drop.
failure in the history of Two Nobodies right there.
Oh, Eddie
I
probably drops a 5-pound fucking a little fucking 5-pound weight and fucking
Oh.
runs out of the fucking.
Okay, good point. If I was drinking though,
Mm.
there's no one I don't talk to in the elevator, by the way. If you're in the elevator with me and I've had one sip of alcohol, you're gonna know how many kids I have.
Oh,
I'm gonna know where
gosh.
you live. I am that dude. And my wife hates it, but I'm that
I
dude.
would hate that.
Yeah, my wife's like, can you
I'm
not
just that
fucking-"
dude. Like if I see somebody famous, I'm gonna go up and say.
Okay, I'll just tell this little story. I'm gonna say the story, and it's embarrassing because I had been drinking all day at the pool. We go to our room, my daughter and my wife, beautiful women. We go down, we're going down to dinner, right? And we get in the elevator, and this, tall, handsome, skin tone black dude, he is in the elevator already. And I just blurt out, "How you doing, man? This is my wife and this is my daughter. You have 1 second to look at them, and that's it. Because I'm fucking tired. I know they're hot and I know they're good looking." My wife and my daughter, their mouths dropped. He starts laughing, and that's me in Vegas.
Wow.
He started laughing hilariously. I'm like,
Good on him.
I just,
probably wouldn't have, as a stranger, I wouldn't have not given you that same energy. I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to?
luckily he
him.
was. Luckily, it was a good sport, man. Because I look back, I'm like, what a fucking douchebag. Yeah, for sure,
story.
for sure.
Good story.
But that's me in Vegas, man. So,
Did we lose Eddie?
Eddie, we lost you.
Eddie, we lost you, bud.
We lost Eddie. Are we live on Instagram or not yet?
We are live on YouTube and Instagram.
back.
You're back.
Okay. No, there's been a lot of negativity. We said, who's gonna be the big star? They brought out Travis Scott again. Like, been there, done that shit. Like,
And they were in Vegas, so we literally called it. We were like Dana White, maybe some UFC people. But like I said, the only way that you're going to get a guy like me and Eddie, and I got to give Eddie Money credit to this, is if you bring real sport people over to WWE. I want to see freaking Max Crosby or Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy. I want to see those type of people because that's the only reason I'm going to tune in.
Yeah, Kittle was there. Kittle was in the background the whole time, but he's already been there. They're big. They're big. Is Fluffy, the fucking comedian. It's
and he's like a C-list celebrity.
So
yeah,
seriously. But let's move on. Let's move on from fucking WWE. It's over, done. My son's. Yeah, it's just wild. CJ, you're firing. Who do you got, man? Valid firing, by the way, Rafa. Valid.
I don't have one in the first history of Two Nobodies. I don't have a firing. This has been a very good positive week for myself.
Nice.
So I'm in a positive way.
Shaba.
No firings.
Oh, no, not even a hiring? Okay, you don't have to hire anybody. We're just gonna roll right past it. We're gonna get into my firing, okay? We just talked about Max Crosby. He has a podcast called the Rush Podcast. I think it does very well. I get clips here and there, but he just had Shador Sanders on. Oh, Will Hanley, what up, man? The Rock didn't show up. That's a huge mistake by them. But then the Rock shows up on McAfee's show and then trashes the whole fucking shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. After you continue, and I got one. He just brought up a firing in my head.
No, go back. Handle your business.
We got to go back to whoever that WWE wrestler manager that went on the Pat McAfee show and decided to throw a shot at Uncle Shay Shay for no damn reason. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
What did he say?
He said, I think on quote, he said, I forget the rest. What wrestler did he bring up? CM Punk. He said CM Punk brings as much validity or much something to this organization as Shannon Sharp does to ESPN. And then the crowd goes boo, and then he says, "Don't boo me. I'm not the one getting sued." And I was just like, guys, you're a fucking wrestler manager. Relax.
But CJ, he's selling his product.
CJ, have you ever seen McAfee so uncomfortable? He was he's hitting the eject button. He's like, wait, no, stop. Like, he was
so uncomfortable.
He was so
I get the selling part, but you pushing the brother down. You're pushing the brother down. Come on now.
Gotta sell, man.
We going to get into Uncle Shay Shay a little later.
Yes, we are. Yes,
we're going to get into that. Yeah. So, good point, Will. So, like I said before, I'm firing. And guys, can you stop it with you guys are just trying to get clickbait? I don't give a shit.
Fuck. This is what this podcast is about.
Yeah, I'm going to say what I want to say. We don't get any likes. We don't get any. What we get is what we get. I like talking shit with my buddies, having a glass of wine. I wish I could smoke a cigar, but I'm in the house. But I don't give a shit about that. I talk about Shador Sanders because he's a fucking topic. He just went on the Rush podcast with Max Crosby. Crosby asked him to give his Mount Rushmore of quarterback receiver duos. I mean, and Rafa could probably give you 10. I could give you, 7 or 8 great ones. But I just want to go through his top 5. Okay, his
List
top
them in
5.
order, please. If
I
you
will
have 'em.
list. So he goes first, and he says Brady to Gronk. Now Gronk's a tight end, but he gets a pass. Okay, GOAT to I still think the best tight end. Just all around tight end ever. Total pass there. Number 2, also very viable and credible. Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I'm like, oh, okay.
God, fuck.
Okay.
I don't know. Yes,
Right?
sir.
Okay. Then this is
God.
where we start getting off the tracks, Rob.
We're already off the track
Off the
a little
tracks.
bit.
No,
Yeah,
no,
we're
no.
A little
already
bit.
that
No,
right there
All
is
right.
getting me off the track.
That you are going to it's gonna be a fugitive off the tracks, train rolls. He goes Derek Carr and Chris
Oh.
Olave. You should see Max Crosby, and they're like, excuse me? Like,
So he thinks he's going 9 to the Saints, is what you're telling me.
okay. So that's my next. And then number 5 is even a more a sign to where he thinks he might go. He says,
to Colson.
no, it's even better. He goes, whoever the Pittsburgh quarterback's gonna be, and DK Metcalf and George Pickens. It was just bro,
Dude,
like
is he delusional?
either
like
he's
what-
delusional
So
or
no Montana to Rice, no young Rice, no Peyton Manning to Reggie Wayne, no Peyton Manning to Marvin.
exactly.
None of that.
Exactly. None of that. He went into Derek Carr and Chris Olave.
Wow.
Like, yeah, that has to say like he's saying something, right? So listen, that's not clickbait. I didn't fucking say it. He fucking said it. And I'd be an idiot if I don't bring it up on my fucking podcast. That is the stupidest fucking list of the Mount Rush. It's the Mount Rushmore. He could have said so many other things. Is it the fact that, he just didn't watch a lot of NFL football? That's hard to believe, being Deion Sanders' kid.
So this is how we defeat the comments. Can you and Rafa at least give your Mount Rushmore of the Mount Rushmore of the quarterback wide receiver duo?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
fuck yeah. Are you kidding? Here, I'll go first. I'll go number 5, which wasn't great, but both iconic. Right? It was great, and they were iconic names or whatever. But I'm gonna go Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin.
Ooh, good.
At
good.
At number 5. At number 4, I go Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne. At number 3, I go Steve Young, Jerry Rice. At number 2, Peyton Manning and Marvin. And number 1, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice.
Bang.
Like Jerry Rice was so good that he's on the list twice with 2 quarterbacks.
It's just a fact. That is a bang out great list. I thought
that's just off the top of the dome. That's not even us doing any work.
So Rafa, I didn't think when you said Reggie Wayne, I'm like, hold on. Marvin Harrison had 146 receptions in a fucking season, but then you made up for it and put him at fucking 2.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Listen, Peyton Manning deserves to be up there twice, as Jerry Rice deserves to be in that line. I mean, there's just
for sure.
I don't know what else. I mean, Ed, give us your
5. I'm trying to go somewhere different, right? I'm thinking Marino and Duper, but that's not a thing. Elway really never had
that one guy.
Right. I will say this. I'll say, how about Brett Favre, Sterling Sharp? It was very short, but Sterling Sharp was the best receiver at a certain point, and Favre and Sterling Sharp injuries ended that. But it's hard to argue with your list. Brady never had that dude. Never had hold on. If you're talking about one season, you can go Brady.
Well, if you go one season, but we're going,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
Yeah, an era.
Like,
An
yeah,
era
you're
between
talking
those
an era
two.
because one season, I don't think Randy Moss and Brady could
There's
have
a lot of one season duos.
Oh yeah. There's plenty of one seasons.
What did Moss have? 22 freaking touchdowns?
He had a ridiculous fucking total.
Oh man. That
Yeah,
was
no, there's plenty
crazy.
of one seasons, McNabb and T.O. and Romo and T.O. and fucking Jeff Garcia and Terrell
Jeff Garcia
Owens
and T.O.
would have been better than fucking than Derek Carr and
Chris Olave?
Derek Carr should never be on any Mount Rushmore anywhere
No.
in any country on any planet.
Big Ben and Antonio Brown had phenomenal years as well.
Ooh, that's
Like,
a good one.
you
That's
know,
a good one.
I mean,
That's a
Kurt
good one.
Warner and Torrey Holt, Kurt Warner and
Isaac Bruce.
Like, you know, there's so many players that you can there's so many, you know, duos that you can put in there. And nobody will ever fault you if you said Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce were in the top 5. I went Aikman and Irvin because, you know, they won Super Bowls together and
it was like an iconic thing.
Yeah, and it was an iconic thing, and they're both fucking Hall of Famers.
Yeah. You know, we're gonna see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase for another 3-4 years. They have a chance to be iconic because they're both so Tiki. No. We ain't going there, Papa. And
What did he say? I don't.
Gannon to Brown.
Gannon. Come on, man. Stop.
Come on, man. Yeah.
You know who's better? You know who's better? Gannon to Brown. Fucking Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Come on. I mean, there's so many fantastic 3, 4, 5-year duos.
Tiki always sneaking in, always taking the Raider.
Yeah, he's like your generation's Will Hanley. He just kind of sneaks in there.
He always sneaks in a Raider. And listen, you know,
that's always great though.
No, 100%. We need it. 100%. I love it.
Eddie hates Tim Brown, but you know what? Gannon and Brown also better than what that idiot said. Olave and fucking Derek Carr.
You know what it is?
Wouldn't you say Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill is a better duo than Derek Carr and Chris Olave?
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Sam Darnold and Jay Jettis is better than those fucking two.
Wow.
I mean, yeah,
dude.
That's the anthill, not the Mount Rushmore. That is ridiculous.
And then he says that, you know, like the Saints, you could have gone back and had Drew Brees and Michael Thomas, Drew Brees and Marcus Colson.
Yeah.
Like the Saints are Are you kidding? And those are the two guys you brought up.
Is he just watching film? Is he barely just watching film right now? That's what
no,
has to be going on, right?
I think it's a lot. It's a mix of I want clicks and I have a lack of football history knowledge.
But that's the thing. Like, how do you have a lack? Your father is arguably the.
Can I speak to that, Eddie? There's a lot of people who I know that play a lot of football that are really good at it, you know, that are up there in the high college NFL, and they don't watch it. Because their life is so involved in it all the time, they stay completely away from it.
It's true. Ask a top receiver in college, ask a top receiver in the country in high school, and they will give you like the most stupidest freaking lists. You know, they'll be like,
well,
huh?
The thing is, to me, if I'm a quarterback who's going to get drafted, I want to watch. And I should know who the fuck
100%.
Peyton Manning and you know, and Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers and John Elway and Drew Brees. I want to know, and I want to watch, and I want to see what they did. So for me, that's not an excuse. Like that to me, there's no excuse. Like if you're a number 1 receiver in the land, whether in high school or in college, you should know. When somebody asks you, hey, who are your 5 receivers? Who do you model your game around? If you're a 6'4" fucking monster, you should say Calvin fucking Johnson.
Yes.
If I'm 6'1" and I'm flying down the field and I can catch the ball all over the place, I'm Jerry Rice.
Yeah. If you're 5'8" and you run a 4.2, you're saying Tyreek Hill.
Of course. And if you're white, you're always saying Wes Welker and fucking
Julian Edelman.
No, Wes Welker was before Edelman.
I'm saying you're saying those two receivers. Two guys.
And if you're a taller white dude, you're saying Cooper Kupp.
We see it. You know what? We see it all the time in basketball as well. If you ask these college kids, like, who do you watch? And they're like, Anthony Edwards. Like, huh? What the fuck?
Matthew Rocha said you got to be at least watching film.
Listen, GMs love kids that watch film because that's what GMs and head coaches do, and coaches do. They get off on watching film. They love kids that watch film. So, let that's your fired for this week. If you guys want to get any more of your firings or hirings in, go ahead, let us know. We are live on YouTube or live on Instagram. Will Hanley's in the house, Tiki's in the house, Matt Rocha's in the house. But let's get into the NFL draft, man. Tomorrow is my day. Tonight is Christmas Eve. I've already done 12 mock drafts in the last 4 hours. Yes.
Yeah,
Today. And then I send it to everybody. And Rafa yelled at me. CJ, I had the most terrific mock draft about 2:00 driving home on the 10 freeway. I traded down from 6 to 10, from 10 to 12, and Ashton Genty was there at 12. I got Genty. I got Conley, the tackle from Oregon. I crushed it, and Rafa is like, Genty's a horrible pick. I'm like, I got him at 12, man. That's genius.
And you know what? This is the problem that I have with Genty. Besides the fact that I talked shit about him all last season.
Yeah.
Because he played inferior talent. But and I know he played who was on the schedule.
Yeah, who's in front of him?
But in the first round, okay, and Saquon, say what you want. If Saquon didn't have the year that he had and they won the Super Bowl, and he was a perfect fit for that team. But if we remove Saquon, Derrick Henry, and Christian McCaffrey, okay, from the list, and we look at the other 27 or 29 starting running backs, whatever the fuck it is, which one of them is worth a first-round pick? And you have to remember, when you're drafting a first-round pick, when you're using a first-round pick, especially in the top
10,
15, top 10, 15,
you got to hit.
You want a guy, well, besides the fact that you have to hit because there's plenty of misses, but even when you hit, you want to hit on a guy that you can have under contract you can give him a second contract. Yeah. How many running backs are worth a second contract? There's like 3 of them. That's it. You're going to end up with Ashton Genty as a Zeke. As an Ezekiel Elliott.
Hold on. I think that would be actually a good thing. Zeke was dominant his first
Zeke was dominant for 3 years. And then what? And then you're done. And then he's done. So you have a guy, you wasted a top 15 pick on a guy that isn't worth a second contract.
Yeah, especially because you're not in a Super Bowl.
When you're drafting in the first round, especially in those top 15 picks, I believe that you need to, try and find a guy, right? And it's always tough to find a guy no matter what, at 1 or 15 or whatever. But I believe that one guy that you're drafting, whether it's number 1, number 5, number 7, that you believe that guy will be a 10-year player. That's what you have to believe. And taking Ashton Genty in the first round, he is not a 10-year player. Because historically, that position for the last 10 or 15 years has told you that they are not that position is not that. It's really not. Saquon's the exception. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, those are exceptions. Look at everyone else. Najee Harris. How did Najee Harris turn out?
So I agree with you 100%. This is, and so we see this all the time, right? What's hot? The run and shoot. What's hot? RPO. Saquon Barkley has put a tidal wave of fear into all these GMs and be like, what if Ashton Genty is Saquon? We went from 2 years ago to where none of these guys could even pull a $10 million to $12 million contract. If you look at the highest paid running backs in the NFL right now, I believe one is Josh Jacobs, right? Raiders after he had a top rushing season in the NFL. They wouldn't give him $12 million. You have McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry to me is different, Rafa. That is a unicorn. That is a 6'3", 255-pound monster. Like, that's not Ashton Genty.
Yeah,
And
in order, it's Saquon Barkley at 20 million, Chris CMC at 19. Then you got Jonathan Taylor at 14, Alvin
yeah,
Kamara, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, etc.
so
Alvin Kamara, that's also an exception. Like there's few exceptions at that position.
there
Like
is.
is Bijan, if you go back and look at the draft, is Bijan really worth what they picked him at realistically?
No.
What has he produced for that
I-
team?
I actually think he is more talented than what the Falcons. The Falcons, when in the first quarter, he looked so good, and they don't continue to build the team around him because they have Drake London, they have a bunch, a tight end that fucking has never panned out. But Rafa, my thing is, you try, and Rafa does a good job of this. Rafa doesn't watch ESPN, he doesn't watch all the bullshit. Rafa really uses his eyes. I've been really trying to use my eyes and watch these highlights and watch the film. And I can't, for CJ, for my life, I can't tell when I'm watching Aston Genti's highlights if I'm watching shit poor arm tackling or just a crazy phenom. But I will say
A little bit of
this.
both.
There has to be, right? But I will say this. When I see the two running backs from Ohio State, I see explosion.
That's what I want right there. That's what I think.
Explosion.
I'm 100% with you on that.
You don't
if
see
I'm-
explosion with Ashton Genty?
No, not in that.
Not
same-
like those two.
Interesting. I disagree.
Not like those two. Dude, I watched the highlight
You know
yesterday.
why I disagree?
Why
Because
TB caught him?
I think his explosion off of cutting specifically, when he cuts and he's able to get out, I think that is unmatched with the other two guys, Travion Henderson and whoever else you're referencing. Like,
Judkins.
I have not seen
Judkins.
anybody cut and just go as quickly as he does with those feet.
He's been very vocal, CJ. He's like, go ahead, pass me up. This game is tackle football. And he said, there's a quote, I'm gonna go with the guy they can't tackle. And it does put a little bit of fear into my heart. I'm a Raider fan. Raider fans pick at 6. I think I can get a just as good running back day 2. We've talked about.
I'm with you, and the Raiders pick bothers me because for me, I'm not a Raider fan, right? You guys are all
We
Raider
know.
fans. Everyone in our
Hell
Don't
no.
don't
Hell
call CJ a
no.
Raider
Fuck
fan.
no.
So, but all the guys in the group chat, they're all Raider fans. And for me, if I'm the Raiders at 6, there's no way that I can pass up what I believe is a receiver that I think can be one of the 3 best receivers in the league in 4 years. Behind, and obviously them staying healthy, which for the most part, they have in Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. And I take T-Mac if I'm the Raiders at number 6 because their quarterback, who they picked up and gave $66 million guaranteed, which means they're basically going to have him. They're thinking at least for the next 2 years. We've seen Gino has come along. He's shined later in his career as other quarterbacks have. He did it with a good group of receivers. He has one of the best tight ends in the league already in Brock Bowers. And so you have Myers, who in reality, when we look at it, he's really a number 2 receiver. If you bring T-Mac in over any other position, lineman or whatever, I need my quarterback who's proven that he can put up nearly 5,000 fucking yards with DK Metcalf and Njigba, elite receivers basically, or top 15 receivers in the league. And then with a decent receiver in Lockett, I bring in McMillan and I bring in T-Mac to the Raiders with Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. And then with my 2nd round pick, then I'm looking at an offensive lineman. Yeah. Then I'm looking at a running back. Because for me, my quarterback has been able to produce and put up yardage and win football games with a really, really good core on the offensive side of the ball.
I'm so glad you finally acknowledged that, Rafa. I'm so glad you finally acknowledged that.
Listen,
I know
Eddie,
they were in Seattle.
I know what's good and what's not. And there's this shit I say to fuck with you guys, obviously, right? So
you do a great job, by the way.
But that's my whole thing. But when you see those numbers and you see what he's been able to do, there's no way that I don't give him another weapon. And now maybe you believe that you can get a weapon, maybe not as good as T-Mac, because I believe he's the best receiver in the draft. Maybe you can get a guy in the second round at that position. But if I'm the Raiders, I don't pass up on T-Mac, and it would be tough for me to pass up on him. It's like if the Jets passed up on Warren from Penn State. I mean,
so good. So
Yeah,
good.
But-
currently Mel Kiper has the Raiders drafting Ashton Genty in the first round and then taking Josh Simmons from Ohio State in the second.
So I don't know if you've heard this, CJ, but you have literally been on the same football field. You St. John Bosco, where CJ played and won a national championship and a state championship.
Yada yada yada.
You got beat, in my opinion, by you were on that field when Servite beat you with T-Mac.
I've never gotten beaten by Servite, first of all.
Oh, you weren't on that field when
I
they
was
beat you?
graduated. I have never fucking
Oh,
gotten
okay.
beat
I
by
apologize.
Servite.
I apologize, but you saw what T-Mac played both ways.
Yeah, no,
He was a
100%.
safety. He was a safety. He was the best safety in maybe the country. He was the best. I mean,
Volleyball player,
but so here's the thing.
basketball player.
And here's the knock. And here's the narrative that people are putting out, that he doesn't love football.
Real quick,
and
let me address real quick, Eddie. Let me
Go ahead.
cut you off. So, Matthew, the only reason I'm calling him T-Mac is because I can't pronounce his first name, and I don't want to disrespect him.
Tetaroa.
I don't want to disrespect him, so I don't understand. I don't know his
Can you
first
sound
name.
it out with me?
What-
Tetaroa.
They call him
Taroa.
Ted. You can go Ted.
Tetaroa. So
Teroa.
Tetaroa.
Just go Ted.
Tyroa.
Tetaroa.
All right, so- well, for me, it's T-Mac, and this is the NFL T-Mac, and no disrespect to Tracy McGrady, but that's why. But anyways, go ahead, Ed.
So, that is right now, that is the narrative. One of his buddies posted him at the training table when he was a freshman, by the way. It came out that this was him as a freshman at the University of Arizona, where he walked onto that campus and was the best fucking player on the field. And someone's recording him as he's eating. He's like, I don't watch film. I hate watching film. Fucking shit comes out. Like, it's almost as bad as the lineman from Ole Miss who had a bong gas mask on. They're trying to compare it to that because he said he didn't watch film as a freshman at U of A.
So here's what I'll say. As somebody who fell out of love with playing football, not the game, but fell out of love with playing football, it showed. As soon as I got around competition with people who were just as good as me at Air Force, it showed fast. Mm-hmm. And T-Mac has had the opportunity to be around people that, if we're being honest, are just not as talented as he is. He's gotten away with being way more talented than everybody on the field. And you're right. He's the top 5 player that I've ever been on the field with. Because I did play against him. I see we just didn't lose. But when he gets around NFL talent, guys who are trying to feed their families, guys who have kids and wives and families to feed, he's going to get exposed if he doesn't love football. That talent is not going to take him as far as he wants to go. So it'll show. If that's true, I don't believe it. I'm sorry. Nothing has shown me that. But it'll show.
It's the number one thing in this, this science that is not, it's not a science that is mathematical, right? The draft, it's hit or miss. And it's also, these guys know now you have an agent, just like you're at a facility in Orange County running a 40. For 2 hours, you're sitting down doing fake interviews. Do you love football? Do you do this? They've all been coached at this point, right? And it's the number one thing I've heard, like 10 GMs in the last month talk about. They're looking for competitors, right? You look at it, Antonio Brown coming from nowhere, right? Antonio Brown was not going to be outworked. Jerry Rice not having the best was not going to be. You're looking for those guys who have talent. Walter Payton, Ed Reed. I saw a speech with Ed Reed and the Ray Lewis, and they're like, we are who we are because we had talent, but nobody was going to outwork us, and no one was going to watch as much film. It's not because they were good. Everyone, and Rafa will tell you this, everyone in the NFL is fucking talented. What change? What's the difference is that are you focused? Are you prepared? Are you willing to put the fucking work in the fucking film room?
100%.
100%.
So
100%. There's no doubt about it. And for all the sports,
Yeah.
for the most part, all those guys are talented. I mean, they're all super, super, super beyond talented.
Right.
It's just the extra work. And
Ryan
so
Leaf, too.
Matthew's talking about Ryan Leaf and DeMarcus Russell in this era. And I think you're right.
we all know the Jamarcus Russell story, right?
Yeah, the one with the videos with the they send him film and he didn't fucking watch.
He didn't fucking
Yeah,
watch
I know.
any of it.
I could say I know a lot of people who are very talented that did not watch film, but this is the NFL, and it is the biggest jump in his career that he'll ever make. It's just 3,000 levels above anything he's ever seen. So not watching film, I'm sorry, it's just not going to cut it. He's talented. He's not that talented.
So, someone came on. Let's move on to Travis Hunter, right? Probably the second biggest name in the whole entire draft. And I
Who's
just saw Shador is probably the bigger name, not the bigger talent.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah. But I don't know if it was Kelsey's podcast or someone's, or you know what? Maybe Cam Newton's. I don't know who it was, but I heard this, and I have been a proponent that Travis Hunter will be successful, and you have to play him as a cornerback and receiver. And I had never. Oh, I know what it was. It was the Bus Boys.
Bussin' with the boys.
Bussin' with the boys, right? And they brought up this thing, and both NFL players, right? Lawan, who was fucking amazing, and then you had Jesse, who just a grinder, made a bunch of teams. Compton, Nebraska. And they said they both had a hard time wrapping their head around it as well. They're like, "Do you think you could do this?" And someone, I don't know if it was, they talked about Cam Newton, and they said, "Imagine this. Imagine on a week, because they know how much work they put in. Imagine being or getting prepared for covering Tyreek Hill all week, right? That's like a monumental task. And then in the same game, as a receiver, you have to go up against Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And for the first time, I was like,
Fuck that.
oh, fuck. That was probably the first time I was like, holy shit, that is a terrific point. Like, I've never thought of it that way. Like, when Chad Ochocinco used to send gifts, right? Rafa, you remember this. He would send like Pepto-Bismol or like Advil to the cornerbacks. He was hilarious like that. But that's who you are getting prepared for. CJ, you played. You watch film of the Vatos that you are going to go up against all week long. That shit, you dream about it. And imagine going against two Hall of Famers. For the first time, I've actually questioned, like, can he do this?
No,
I don't know.
I knew it I told you from the beginning, it's impossible to do. It's too much work. It's too much film study. It's way too much. He needs to pick. And now, listen, it's easier for him to play defense because it's easier for him to focus on the defensive side of the ball because you can always just throw him in there as the number 3 receiver, whatever, right? Maybe the number 4 receiver, run a couple plays from a little wide receiver screen, short shit like that, right? Like that you can include him in. But for him to literally line up the first snap of the game, and he's on the offensive side of the ball and he's in that entire drive, there's no way that he's going to be able to do it. He's not going to be able to do it well. He's not going to be able to do both well. That is the thing. You need it, and for play both, I'm going to quit. Bro, this is a whole, you were playing, number one, you played at Colorado. You played in the Big 12. We saw you one night get cooked by Stanford last year by a fucking nobody. I will bring that shit up.
Dude, that Stanford receiver is projected in the first 2 rounds, by the way. Just so you know.
Hooked him.
I mock draft him today.
Cooked up. So imagine when you have to line up and you're playing, let's say the Bengals, or imagine, and you don't even have you don't have to guard Jamar Chase. You gotta guard T fucking Higgins. How about when you play the Rams? Oh, you got Puka? We'll give you an old Devontae. An old Devontae is gonna cook your ass as well.
Because Devontae watches film, man. He knows
Dude,
all your tendencies.
He will get destroyed. Okay, if he concentrates on both sides of the ball, if he puts in all his efforts to both sides of the ball, it won't be enough. It won't be enough because he will miss on one side, and it's easier to miss. It's easier to play the receiver without watching film than it is to play corner. Play corner, you need to have plenty of film on fucking Jamar Chase, on T. Higgins, on Puka and Devontae, on the guys from the Eagles, Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean
AJ Brown.
There's no way. I mean, there is a ton of film.
Yeah,
and most of these teams have two elite guys. A lot of these teams, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. Yeah. I mean, you're going to go to, if you play Pittsburgh, you got DK and George Pickens. Maybe George's not there. I mean, there's just so much work that will take part on the defensive side of the ball that you won't have any time. You won't have time to put in the work on the offensive side of the ball.
So two things, right? Two things. No way he was studying, except for maybe the receiver from Iowa State. I think his name is Higgins. I think he's fucking badass. I would love to take him in the second round.
Very good receiver.
But here's the thing. He's Travis Hunter isn't staying awake at night watching film of any fucking Big 12 receiver.
No.
Neither is he studying film of any Big 12 cornerback.
Not at all. Not one. Not one.
Now add that equation or add that, whatever, to where he's coming from. Deion Sanders. And Deion Sanders has said it many times. Deion Sanders would take a helicopter from the Braves to the Atlanta Falcons. Deion Sanders was not watching any film because he was that talented. Is Travis Hunter Deion Sanders talented to where?
Fuck no.
Just put me out there. Just put me out there. I don't need to watch Jamar Chase's breaks in and out. I don't need to know his tendencies. I don't need to know DA's skip step off the fucking line of scrimmage.
Eddie, it was such a different game as well when Deion was playing. Deion wouldn't be able to, as good as Deion was, Deion wouldn't be able to pull that off today. Deion wouldn't be able to pull, as good as he was, he wouldn't be able to pull that off today because you have the likes of the Cincinnati Bengals. You have the likes of the Minnesota Vikings, of the Rams, of plenty of teams. Look at Dallas. If Dallas picks at 12 and they end up taking a receiver, which looks like it's going to be T-Mac falling all the way to 12, you have CeeDee Lamb and T-Mac. Like, you're going to have duos. There are duos, and then and we're not even talking about the tight ends that line up on the outside.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, there is so much work. I mean, he for him to think that he's going to be able to focus and do both, I think he will do it on a level that Deion did it. I think we're going to see a little more of him at the receiver position than we saw of Deion in the beginning, and that'll start to fade because it's going to affect him on the defensive side of the ball. And to me, you have to take him as a cornerback. I don't take him as a receiver because when I watched him play receiver last year, I felt like a lot of the plays were broken. Were broken. So, and his speed and athleticism helped him on those broken plays. And like you said, Big 12 corners.
He's not losing any sleep over those.
No. Are you kidding? He was sleeping in a car with his girlfriend at a party. He wasn't watching film.
And you know what? We're gonna get a lot of hate for this. You guys are just fucking haters. I want to see this guy be, Tyreek Hill on offense, and I want see him be, you know, Gerald Rivas on defense. I want to see it. Why don't
Right. We want to see history.
God
I
damn,
love
that's
greatness.
where you went. You literally went Rivas and
I
Tyreek
mean,
Hill.
I mean, that's what people are expecting, though, Rafa. Are you not? That's what people
I'm
are
not. I'm not expecting.
I know
I'm
you're not.
I never expect Darrell Rivas from anybody because I believe he's one of the 2 or 3 best ever.
Facts.
That's me, and Chad Johnson will fucking test to that shit.
Oh yeah.
So
He,
I mean,
he shut everybody down.
he shut everybody down, and week after week after week. So
And
if
mama.
you're drafting Travis Hunter thinking he's Darrell Rivas, he's not. And if you're drafting him thinking he's Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase or fucking even Chris Carter, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not. You better pray that he's fucking Jason Sehorn.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, it's kind of already that he's going number 2. It's kind of already like signed, sealed, delivered, because it's almost like, how do you pass on that kind of, if he is those, it's kind of like, if he even turns out to be half of those guys, how'd you pass up? You were the dude, you know, you didn't take Michael Jordan was drafted 3rd. You took Sam Bowie 2nd. You don't want to be Portland, Oregon, who drafted Sam Bowie 2nd.
Right, but okay, so if you're Cleveland and you don't draft him, at number 2, right? Is Cleveland going to regret that pick? And that's what you're saying.
You know, there's so many questions now. The smoke screens they're at an all-time high. You know, Abdul Carter, you know, now the more questions are, is his foot, you know, can you draft him at number 2? We all know the talent, but you know,
the talent, man. Wow.
But the injury, there's no question about the talent, but is the injury too much? You know,
no, I got it. I know.
Yeah.
So, man, how good is he?
Oh my God. Him and Myles Garrett, someone said it the other day. It's like, so it's a quarterback league, right? It's and you don't have one in Cleveland. But if you put Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter on each edge,
chasing a motherfucker,
they don't have a quarterback either. His life's in jeopardy.
And in the division that you're in, and if you look at Cleveland, right? Because they're at the number 2, and basically it's set in stone that Cam Ward's basically going to Tennessee tomorrow night.
Oh yeah.
If you're Cleveland, right? Either pick with Cleveland, I don't think they make a mistake. Obviously, with Carter, you have the issue with the injury, right? But if you take Travis Hunter, if you're Cleveland, having Myles Garrett as a defensive end, putting pressure on that quarterback makes Travis Hunter job easier, obviously, right? At number 3, the Giants, they can take either guy, and I believe the Giants defense will be a top 10 defense next year. They were good this year, and they have Dexter Lawrence and Burns and Thibodeau, and they have all those guys. Imagine those guys with Travis Hunter. Those guys help Travis Hunter a shitload playing corner, and Travis going to the Giants, I think for me is the best situation for Travis. Yeah. Because he won't be expected to be the best receiver because they already have one. Right. And
100%.
And at corner, his job at corner will be a little bit easier because that front 4, front 7, whatever they got going there, I think is very good. So Travis at 2 or at 3, I think both end up good situations for him and for both the teams picking there. I don't think they can make a mistake. The Browns and the Giants can't fuck this up if they take one of those 2 guys. Literally, they can't. They can't. You can't fuck it up. But listen, even if people complain about it, and let's say the Browns take Abdul Carter, if he gets hurt, fine. He gets hurt, he never comes back. But the talent is there. That's you only miss on that player if his injuries don't hold up. Like him, I don't think he's just going to be a lazy bad player. Like fuck, we missed because he sucks.
Yeah,
because we've seen guys. Oh yeah, but no, this guy. We've seen guys. We've seen them miss. We've seen teams miss all the time because the guy just doesn't put in the work, and he wasn't really as good. Abdul Carter is all of that and then some. In what was the best conference in college football last year, he was all of that. And Travis Hunter, I'm telling you, those because you can't miss. I believe the 2 and the 3 pick cannot misses for either one of those 2 teams. Like they can't fuck it up, and they're fielding trade talks. That's how you're gonna fuck it up.
Oh, so remember CJ, and you'll know this. Micah Parsons didn't play that last year.
Right.
Had like got in a fight in the showers or something, the famous Penn State showers. He dropped way too far.
And he
He
was
dropped-
phenomenal, and everyone knew
really
it.
good.
That
Yeah.
draft night,
Yeah.
my buddy Mike, who's a big Cowboys fan, I said, dude, if Micah Parsons drops you, he is the best defensive player in this draft. There's no doubt about it. He
There
didn't even
wasn't
play
any
last
question.
year. There was no doubt about it. You saw it, and you
Yep.
see the same in Abdul Carter. I know
Yes.
he was hurt. I know he's hurt a little bit, and
Yeah.
but you still see it. I mean, I'd take a chance if I'm the Browns or the Giants. I'm willing to take that chance on that player.
So real quick, I agree with you. Let's look at what won the Super Bowl championship this year. We saw a running game with a good quarterback, but more than anything, what won that game against the Kansas City Chiefs, what they rush, they never blitzed, Rafa. You had a front four that
Phenomenal.
gave the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes hell in a night. And that is sort of, it's a copycat league. You want to do that. If you
Yeah,
don't
when you
have
can
to,
beat 4 or 5, it's
Right?
amazing.
it's what
And
beat
I, and
it's what beat the Patriots, the
Yeah.
NASCAR package. When you could only rush 4 and get pressure on the quarterback,
It's amazing.
it really is a secret to success in the NFL.
And I think for the Giants and the Browns, they have that set up where if
Yep.
they take Carter, they will
Mhm.
only need to rush 4.
Yeah.
And sometimes maybe even 3 because you got
3,
2 motherfuckers on that outside.
Time. Yeah,
And
so
when
when
you
you have
look
2 defensive end, 3 is
and when you look at the Giants, think about it. You have Dexter Lawrence, who was phenomenal defensive tackle, phenomenal, underrated,
yeah.
by the way. And then you have Burns. I mean, either, I'm telling you, if that man
Yeah.
is healthy, Abdul Carter is a cannot miss player. And
Yeah.
whoever takes him, I listen, I'd bank on it. I don't give a fuck. If I'm a Browns fan, I want him. If I'm a Giants fan, I want him. Seriously.
And
He's that good.
Bring back Joe Flacco, bring Kirk Cousins. It don't matter, man.
It doesn't
don't
matter. We'll play defense like a motherfucker.
So let's move on to, they always say what is going to be the highlight. Let's go into your biggest NFL draft
Yes.
hot takes. Like,
So what is the Michael Penix moment of this
Whew.
year?
yes. So you want me to start?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so right off the top, and I've already explained, I'm not looking for clicks, but my hot take for this NFL draft, okay, is that Jackson Dart will be picked before Shador Sanders.
Woo!
And if
That
you
is
look,
crazy. That is crazy, cuz.
and if you look, okay, and if you look at the draft order, okay, there's not a lot of NFL hungry teams until you get to, the 49ers. Listen, there could be a argument, and I've heard this is garbage, and you said it before, Rafa. The Titans trade Brock Purdy to the Titans and do all that bullshit. I don't see that happening. That would be the shocker of shockers.
I would
Right?
cry.
That would be like something huge. I mentioned it. Let's move on. I don't think that's going to happen.
Me neither.
Okay, but let's go to 9. The Raiders aren't taking a quarterback. They're not. I'm sorry. It's not happening. I like you. I don't think the Giants take a quarterback either. Right? The
There's
Browns.
no way. If I'm the Giants, there's
Right.
no way.
So when you take out the Browns at 2, the Giants at 3, and the Raiders at 6, the next hungry team is the Saints at 9.
Yep.
I can see Jackson Dart going to the Saints. Now, move back. I mean, it's not even maybe till 18, Seattle. I've seen mock drafts where Shador Sanders is going 26 to the Rams. And I don't hate it. And I think it might happen. One, because, Stafford is, at the very tail end of his career. And it's also a coach in McVay who you're not firing because of
A bad season.
Deion Sanders is talking shit. They're not using my son route. McVay, small Napoleon complex. He ain't afraid of that. And we've talked about this, that GMs and head coaches are going to say, I'm not taking this Shador, because if we suck, right, if you're Cleveland or you're Brian Dable, I'm not taking fucking Shador, because Dion is knocking on the door like, you guys sucked. I can get this right. That's my boy. I know how to do this. That is, you cannot tell me that is not a thing. That is a thing. So,
CJ, is there any way you could put a split screen of? I'm trying to look it up, but if you could put like a split screen of the draft order, just
the
so
draft
we have
order.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can have that, that way we can kind of go through it. Eddie, we got plenty of draft talk. I mean, we got plenty of time too.
Yeah. I mean,
Because I don't want to skip over. I'd like to talk if we can. We kind of talked about the first three.
Yeah.
I don't want to skip over four. I want to talk 4 or 5 until we got to that number.
All right.
If we can, if you guys are okay with it, because I'm interested to see what everyone thinks at 4, which would be New England.
Yeah.
And I know
So-
Matthew's in the chat, and so he's a Patriots fan. What's being said at 4? Because I don't know.
So let's do this. And Matt, you're first on deck. Matt, you're first on deck. If this is one of your teams, let us know in Instagram Live or YouTube. Who do you want at your pick? So we know Cam Moore's going 1. We think it Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter.
Let's
2,
just
3.
call 2-3 right in
Yeah.
there.
Now we have the Patriots, right? We have new coach. We have Drake May, who proves he could play football, and you have a deficit in weapons. To me, it's Tet Mac all day, every day. But Genty is being brought up a lot. What do you think, Matt? Tyla's he retired.
No. He put that earlier. I don't know if he's still on. CJ, do you know who they're taking at? What do the mock drafts say at 4?
There's Will Campbell from LSU. Because listen, you have your franchise quarterback. What do you do?
Do you want me to go through Mel Kiper's mock?
Just go at 4.
Sure,
What does he got? Okay, so Matthew's saying Genty.
So Mel Kiper at 4 has Will Campbell from LSU going for the Patriots.
Yeah. It's
Left tackle, right?
left
Yes,
tackle LSU. To me, it's you when you get your franchise quarterback. Who cares if you have if you can't get him protection? Who cares what you? I think they're gonna go. There's another tackle, Membu from. That's who I would go. I would go Will Campbell or the right tackle from Missouri, who's really good.
So you go offensive line, and then so that's at 4, right?
Yes.
Matthew Rocha says big head, little arms for Will Campbell's a T-Rex.
A lot of people are saying that, but he was so damn good.
Okay, now the Jags with Mason Graham at defensive line. Haven't the Jags drafted like defensive line in the first round? Like,
here's my crazy pick.
So what do you got?
So
CJ?
obviously, I don't give a shit about anybody else besides the 49ers. Not even the Raiders. I think, like you said, the Jacksonville Jaguars have drafted defensive lineman. I think that Mason Graham slips to number 11 in the 49ers draft Mason Graham with the 11th pick, and we get our defensive tackle, man. It'll be that'll just be the greatest pick for me. I've played against this guy. He's whooped my ass, even though he was 2 years younger than me. I've seen him go to Michigan and do crazy things. I would just love if he slipped to 11 and we picked him up.
Is he white?
Oh, he white, man.
White as snow. White as snow.
Snow.
Hard
He's
pass.
a Servite.
Oh.
So, you know, he's a Wyatt Hendrickson. He was the heart and soul of that Michigan national championship team. Does he have any attributes other than every white defensive lineman that everyone loves? His high motor, right? That's what you get from a white D lineman. Great motor, high motor. You know, he's not the biggest dude. He's not the fastest dude, but he's a dog. He is a dog. But he's a guy who could possibly slip. I keep on hearing Jacksonville. Gentie's getting in the mix, or even better than Gentie. And I saw this yesterday or today. Let's talk about Trevor Lawrence and why Trevor Lawrence was picked number 1 overall. Think
Because
about
they didn't watch the Miami game.
no.
Okay, all right.
He
That's-
had 2 6'4" receivers and T. Higgins and the other number 8. Like he had huge targets that were clearly incredible at Clemson. He's really, I mean, other than Brian Thomas, who was incredible last year, had an amazing rookie season. Why wouldn't you go get him another 6'4"? Because what's the knock on Trevor Lawrence? He's not very accurate. He needs huge catch radiuses, right? Huge catch. Calvin Ridley, not a huge catch radius. I would go get him a T-Mac.
So CJ, if you think he doesn't go here in this spot, who do you think the Jags take? CJ, you there?
TJ, you there?
My bad. That is a great question. Like you said, Genty, I could see.
Dude, everyone just saying Jenny. Everyone
Like,
says
but
Genty for everything.
Besides that, I don't.
I
really
feel
know
like-
shit
I feel
about
like-
that wide security.
I feel like Genty's like a cop out pick for some of these teams, like the
Dude,
Patriots.
Travis-
That's an
Travis-
interesting take.
Travis Etienne, when healthy, is special. I drafted him in my fantasy league. He sucked. But Travis Etienne has that twitchiness. Very good. Just wasn't healthy all year. You can't go 5 and get a running back. I'm sorry. That's not. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know how I feel with the running back. So and then
Yeah.
so then the Raiders are at 6. Who do they have at 6 for the Raiders?
Everyone has
Genty.
Genty. Because Rafa, the here's what they're thinking. When was Pete Carroll very successful? When he can play defense and have a punishing running game. But here's the thing. Raiders
That's an MVP
O-line-
quarterback.
Okay,
He had an MVP
people-
quarterback. I mean,
people
like
forget
people
They
forget
do.
about that shit. They had a fucking MVP quarterback. You had an
let-
MVP quarterback. Like Marshawn Lynch was great, and they should have 2 Super Bowls and not 1.
Yes.
But Russell Wilson was an MVP and one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league.
Very good point.
during
Rafa.
that time. So I mean,
People-
everybody wants to give him credit. Oh, the Legion of Doom or the Legion of Boom and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, you still had a quarterback that you took in the 3rd round, and that was one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league in that time, in that era.
There
But
was a reason, right, Rafa? Sorry to interrupt, but there was a reason why there was a saying, let Russ cook. Because they were very conservative for 3 quarters or 3.5 quarters. And then when it came down to it, they let Russ cook in that 4th quarter, in that last half. And it was like, holy shit, look at how good this guy is when you just let him do his thing. To me, I think it was kind of brilliant. Pete Carroll's very conservative, defense, run the ball. And then Russ made the plays when he had to down at the end of the game. But all day long, for me, you have Spy Tech, okay? And if you know who John Spytek is, assistant GM out of Tampa Bay, there is, because Will Campbell will be gone, there is a tackle from the University of Missouri, but the Tigers. His name is Membu. This guy might be the most imposing, just, I think there's only been 4 offensive linemen that have graded like jump 40. This guy, and remember, they drafted Tristan Wirfs, right, from the University of Iowa, who has been a dog. He was Tom Brady's rookie left tackle. He might have been right tackle, I'm not sure, but that's how good Tristan Wirfs was from the University of Iowa. He's whatchamacallit's best friend, quarterback, Oklahoma. Why can't I?
Baker Mayfield.
Baker. Now he's Baker Mayfield. When Baker Mayfield got to Tampa Bay, his first call was to Tristan Wirfs. He said, "Let's go have some beers." That's when you know you got a good quarterback. Tristan was like,
Smart
hell
man.
yeah. Yeah. I think great GMs build inside out. I think the pick is this tackle from Missouri, Membu. And he's nasty, man.
Well, you know how I feel for the Raiders. I think it should be T-Mac for me. But anyways,
Yeah.
number 7. So Eddie thinks that Membu goes 6 to the Raiders. So then that leaves 7 the Jets. The Jets, Mel Kiper has the Jets taking Membu at 7, offensive tackle. And you have to be able to protect Justin Fields. He needs a little bit of time because he's a little bit slower with the progressions. We know that.
Yeah.
But if you can't get an offensive tackle, an elite one, you can get an elite tight end who could be, and this to me will be in the next 3 or 4 years, the second best tight end in the league.
Really?
Yes, behind Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers will be the best tight end in the league in 2.
Yeah.
And this man will be right behind him. And if you watch Penn State play, then you know how good he is.
You're just screaming. Cover number
44.
44. That's all you
cover
want.
44.
The USC game, USC game drove me fucking nuts. That guy ran all
playoff
up in
game.
that ass. Yes.
Dude, I think he lined up at quarterback. He took end arounds. He was passing the ball. It's like he was everything at Penn State. And everyone knew it. And he was still that good. My problem with 44 is that his intangibles. He's not the fastest dude.
He's
right?
also kind of short.
He's not the biggest dude, but no question.
Dude, there's no question how good he is.
Yeah.
For me, when I watched him play at Penn State, it reminded me a little bit of Travis Kelce.
Oh, for sure.
So Tyler Warren, for me,
for sure,
is the pick that the Jets need to make if their offensive tackle from Missouri is not there. That's my pick for the Jets. I would take Tyler Warren because it gives you a kind of safety net, a security blanket for Justin Fields, alongside obviously their great receiver in Wilson that they have. Right. But for me, I think the Jets, I think Tyler Warren, you struggled to put up points last year. You really did. And to find a player this good, I believe is harder. I believe it's easier to find an offensive tackle in free agency somewhere, maybe even in the 2nd or in the 3rd round, than it is to find a tight end or an offensive weapon this good. And the Raiders showed you last year when they shocked everyone in taking Brock Bowers because nobody thought they were going to take Brock. And if you watched Brock play at Georgia, you understood how good that man was. And so it wasn't a shock. People are shocked. There's a lot of people shocked. Oh, he had 100 receptions. If you watch him play at Georgia, there was no shock of how good he was going to be. And when you watch Tyler Warren at Penn State this last year, he was phenomenal. So if I'm the Jets, I'm taking Tyler Warren with the 8th pick. That's me. Or the 7th pick. Or the 8th.
Well, I can't believe I haven't thought of this yet. Rafa. But if you are a New York Jets fan and you're old as I am, old motherfucker, the Jets took a tight end in the 1st round. And I want to say it was from pick 8 to 12. And he was a bad man. And I want to say his name was Kyle Brady or number 88.
I remember Kyle Brady.
Yeah. He was very good.
Very good.
Right? But he never panned out to be as good as he was at Penn State. I can't believe I just remember that. And we have the same ownership group in the Jets. And we all know that dude is nuts. For that reason, and that reason alone, I do think it would be a good, because tight ends weren't what they did back then, right? This is a
different time.
It is.
Tyler Warren played out of his mind last year. He was their only.
It was crazy.
He was their only guy. It felt like
I'd be yelling at my wife like, "Cover 44."
Literally. Yeah, he was that good. That's who I think for the Jets. If I'm the Jets, that's who I would take. I think Tyler Warren is going to be special. I really do.
It's a great call.
Awesome. Well, that's all I got for NFL, man. Do y'all have anything else on the draft? I know it's Eddie's big day tomorrow.
Well, we were on Shador at
Right.
9, right? Which with Eddie doesn't think, because he thinks it's going to be Jackson Dart.
I think it's
Can
gonna be
you pull
Jackson
up
Dart.
that list again, CJ, real quick, the draft list?
Yeah,
So Shador.
I want to know. I want to know where you guys think he's gonna go, because none of you had said Shador yet.
Well, listen, for gambling purposes, the line on Shador over 8.5, which means he's going to go 9 or higher, is
Yeah.
at minus 180 right now. So Vegas thinks that he will go after the number 8 pick, which means Saints, Steelers, etc. And for
Yeah.
me, Eddie, you mentioned the Rams, and you said some mock drafts have them.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are too close. They were in the playoffs last year, and I think they believe they can still make a run to the Super Bowl for them to take Shador in the first round.
And the Rams draft well.
And the Rams draft well, and you saw what they did last year on defense.
Draft well.
So the Rams, I don't think they take Shador at 25 if it fell to them. And if Shador felt that late, where he gets past the Saints, he gets past Pittsburgh, maybe a team trades back in. Maybe Cleveland trades back in to the end of the first round to maybe take him. Maybe the Giants then say, well, fuck it, we got our guy at 3. Maybe we can trade back in and get Shador later in the first. I don't know if he gets past the Saints and Steelers, because I don't see who else. If we're looking at it,
that's what I'm saying,
Seattle
Rafa. I'm telling you, there's not a lot of hungry, NFL team. It's the Giants and Cleveland, and none of these quarterbacks are going to fix their problem.
No, none. And when you look at it, Cleveland's got the 29 pick, and they actually are mocked here at Jackson Dart. So now that makes it interesting, actually. So now if you look at Cleveland, right, and if you look at Cleveland at their 29, let's say Jackson Dart, like Eddie predicted, goes number 9 to the Saints.
Yeah.
Then Cleveland, I don't think, would need to move. Maybe Cleveland would need to move past Pittsburgh, maybe into the 20 or the 19th spot to maybe take Shador. It's going to be interesting. That first round's going to be interesting, and Shador staying home for it, I think, was a smart move.
He is? He's not going?
He's not going, is what I read.
CJ,
if you want to confirm that.
I'll confirm it right now.
This is the flossiest moment of your life. You wear, and listen, we all know prime time, baby. If anyone can floss, he'll have the diamond AP. We've seen the Sauce Gardner chain with the top of, this is your time to floss. This is your red carpet. And Shador is not going to be there?
I don't believe he is. And I think he knew since last week, where he's got wind, that he's not going to be a pick, more than likely not in the top 10. Because you know what would be the biggest shock if the Raiders took him at 6?
Oh,
Shador
100%.
Sanders will not be attending.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not going, Ed.
That's why. You know who's going? Jalen Milroe's going.
I think he said he was. I think he backed out of it.
Oh, I hope so.
I think he backed out of it. I'm not sure, but
I hope so.
Yeah. So, but other than that, Chargers taking another receiver in the first round is what's predicted. But yeah, other than that, Georgia, Michael Williams was projected in the top 15, and now it's come out that he's going to be later in the first round.
Jalen Milroe will be attending.
Oh, he will. He's going to stand pat with that.
That's wild. That's wild. I must have brought up some bad memories for Matt Rocha. He remembers Kyle Brady very, very clearly. Listen, the drama, there's always a guy, right? It was Will Levis with his social media or what's that called? Reality TV girlfriend. The camera's going to focus in on you. We've seen some awesome scenes with guys not Aaron Rodgers not getting picked. He was just livid. There's always that one kid whose agent's like, oh yeah, you're going high, and then they fall. What would be this would be better than WrestleMania. It'd be better than any fucking drama you've ever seen, it's probably smart that Shador doesn't show up, because they would have 5 cameras on him if he dropped past 11. Would not, and that would be the ultimate drama.
Well, and at 11, the Niners are picking 11. They're not taking a quarterback.
No.
No, baby.
Okay. I don't want to talk about Brock Purdy.
We gotta talk about. We're talking about the NFL. Let's talk about the
the
best quarterback in the San Francisco
Listen.
area.
So I'll just tell you what I've heard. And the San Francisco 49ers and John Lynch refuse to put a 5 in front of the second number. And their comp is, which, by the way, this is the first time I agree. They want to comp Tua. Like, my guy's not getting paid less than Tua, which to me actually makes sense. If that's your argument, okay. Like, that's a good argument. If I was his agent, I'd be fucking harping on that fucking guitar too. Like, no way. Look at what he's done. You know, he doesn't have the injury prone, crit fingers and concussion problems that Tua has. But, like I've said before, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't put a 5 in front of his number either. But they're standing true. And this is something that hasn't got done yet, guys. That has not got done yet. That you thought should have been signed, sealed, and delivered a long time ago. What's your take on this, man? Hey, and CJ, I'm gonna go take a pee. So put you motherfuckers back up.
What did Sam Darnold get?
Sam Darnold? What his original contract, or what are you asking?
Yeah. What's Sam? No. The contract that Sam Darnold just got from Seattle. If whatever number that is, to me, Matthew says Tua got paid too much. You know what? I just kind of thought of. I just thought of when Eddie mentioned Tua. What if Miami selected a quarterback in this draft? Maybe not in the first round, maybe in the second.
So
What if
Sam
Miami
Darnold? Oh, just to answer your question, Sam Darnold into 3-year, $100 million contract. With the deal includes $55 million in total guarantees and $37.5 million fully guaranteed to sign it.
Okay, so it's like basically a 2-year deal, more than likely, right? So it doesn't really show you that it kind of tells you Seattle's not going to take a quarterback. And so now can Miami take Shador Sanders as a kind of a safety net for Tua?
Does Shador Sanders want to be a safety net?
Well, you got no choice at this point, because if you go to Pittsburgh, let me ask you something. You think if Pittsburgh draft, because Carr's under contract, Carr's hurt, but he's under contract, and New Orleans made a statement today saying that they would have they're looking further into it basically, and kind of saying, we'll have a better update on Derek Carr hopefully in the coming days, right? So that's kind of them hinting like we're not sure if we're going to take a quarterback in the first round. What I'm saying though is if you're Shador, and he has no choice of where he gets drafted, but Eddie bringing up the Tua thing just reminded me that Tua, obviously with all his issues, concussion and all that, would it be a big shock if Miami drafted Shador Sanders?
Hell yes.
Yes.
You know how much money they're paying?
Yes.
You know how much pain?
He said that like it was just like, would it be a surprise? Hell yes.
Only because they're paying him in the $50 million range.
Right, Eddie. But you cannot go if you're Miami and you've constructed a roster. You have on the offensive side of the ball, you have what kind of seems to be a offensive sort of genius on offense for Miami, right? With the quarterback, you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. You have the running backs who can run the ball. You have a decent tight end, an average tight end.
Yeah.
And you've seen for the last 2 years now where Tua goes down and your season basically falls apart. So if you're Miami and you haven't addressed that problem, and I don't think they've signed a backup quarterback good enough to fix their problem.
Hey, Matt Moore's in Santa Clarita still, man. He'll show right back up.
Right back up in Miami. Now, so would it be far-fetched to draft Shador in the late first round for Miami?
That would be a shock. I mean, we're talking about like shocking. To me, that would be a shock. Now, I'm not saying I agree with you, Rafa. Like, he could go down at any second. Like, even after all the bullshit that Tua's gone through, he has still made some bad decisions and run the ball and dove forward. So you kind of have to have a safe stop, something. But I just don't think. Oh man! But something about a Sanders in Miami, man.
I know
You know,
that
Sanders in
idea.
Miami.
That idea sounds fun. Like the stories that
Right?
would
well,
come
forget
out.
fun.
right?
Let's look at it Shadur's standpoint. If I'm Shadur and Miami somehow takes me, I'm not mad at it. Like CJ said, well, is Shadur going to want to sit and wait? Like, if I'm Shadur
No.
and I get drafted by Miami, I'd rather get drafted by Miami looking at it. I'd rather get drafted by Miami than I'd rather get drafted to New Orleans.
Pops.
And only because, besides the fact that it's Miami, right? The weapons that you have, and we've seen Tua for 2 seasons now go down, as we've seen Derek Carr go down, right?
Yeah.
But Miami, to me, if I'm Miami, I need a backup in place that is capable of leading my team and keeping the same pace that I have, whether I'm 8-2 or 7-3 or whatever it is. I'm literally on a sort of playoff run where I'm going to get to the playoffs the way I'm playing, and now my quarterback goes down in week 10.
Yeah, every time,
And then now, and you had a kid, start a playoff game 2 years ago who hadn't fucking thrown a football. Ever.
He was so
He was
bad,
awful.
too.
He was awful.
He couldn't throw a 5-yard out. I'm like,
Right.
how did this fool get into the league?
It was almost as bad as watching when Brock Purdy
Yeah.
got hurt against the Eagles.
No.
And it was almost as bad.
Yeah.
Right?
And Kyle Juszczyk started playing quarterback.
Yeah. So I'm just throwing it out there.
That's actually
Shador to Miami.
That is yeah, like fuck. I wish we had more time to put that out before tomorrow, because that's actually sort of a brilliant. It's sort of a brilliant take, and something that I haven't seen coming. We know.
And if you think about it, if you're Shador, imagine in practice and
practice.
Well, imagine in practice and training camp and all that, and you'd be throwing, because if you're Tua as your quarterback and you're Miami and you've built a roster and you've spent a ton of money, you've built a roster that's ready to win now, and that window is closing in a hurry, right? Yeah. Tyreek's getting older and all of that. What better quarterback if Shador falls to you, and I think they're at like 19 or whatever, Shador falls to your lap down there.
Dude,
why not give it a go?
This is why we need to be on ESPN. No one has thought of this shit. Nobody.
That's because it's crazy.
It is. But you know what though, Robert? As crazy as it is, it actually makes so much. Like CJ, who is their backup quarterback right now? Fucking Ryan Tannehill? I don't know, but it's kind of, yeah, it does make a lot of sense. And Pops has said, I want him to go to a place where they're going to develop my son and teach him how to play. Oh my God! Is it really Zach?
It's
Zach Wilson.
Oh yeah, what is he good? What the fuck is he gonna do in Miami?
Smoke pot.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Watch his mom get trained on South Beach. Watch his mom get trained on South Beach. Come on, man.
Wow.
Shit.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. But Pops has said they almost prefer Shador to sit. I
think any of the situations that he gets drafted, if we're looking at the teams, we're looking at the Saints. Carr's got money.
Oh no,
still. So
Carr's done. His shoulder's done. They're just not saying it.
Well, they said today. They said today that they're gonna, kind of assess his situation, his injury, yada yada yada. If he doesn't go at 9 to the Saints, then and Jackson Dart doesn't go at 9 to the Saints. If the Saints don't take a quarterback, then you have to think that the Saints believe that Carr's going to be able to play next year.
I saw something today where this guy made a case. just a podcast that guy had like 200 followers. He said, if you think that the Jets and the Giants are the worst run organizations, I was just happy he didn't say Raiders. It's really the Saints. They have really paid, they overpaid. What Tyrann Mathieu has been done 4 years ago. He makes like an ungodly amount of money at safety. Cam Jordan, although very good, you got to move on. You pay him an ungodly amount of money. You signed the safety from the Chiefs, Reed, I believe, for like $31 million. Like when you sign players like that, it's because they're the last piece to the puzzle that's going to take you above and beyond.
Right.
Like even the Raiders not to pay a safety $30 million because you're not there. Like you're not there. And he made a lot of sense that the Saints are just whacked and don't know what they're doing in the front office.
Sounds about right.
It has to be Jackson Dart at 9, man. That's the one thing I really feel strong about.
We'll see.
So.
Shador to the Dolphins.
Dude, if you call that, Rafa, that would be like 50,000 to 1. That would be wild.
That would be insane.
But if you look and then you get, and if Shador just falls off the map, then if you're the Browns and Giants and Shador falls, it makes a lot of sense. To the 32, 33, 31.
Well, the Browns have the 29th pick also.
Okay.
So they can package that 29 and maybe, the first pick of the second round and drop, go down 10 spots to 19 or 18 and pick before the Steelers pick. Because even to me, I think the Steelers are still going to sign Rodgers. And I still believe that the Steelers believe that they're a win now. The thing is, the Steelers are a win now organization. That's the thing. The organization is always a win now. They could be rebuilding shit and Ben Roethlisberger retires, and they're still a win now organization. So for them, their play will be Aaron Rodgers, whether it's this week, next week, or the week after. And I would struggle to see the Steelers jog out there with a rookie quarterback.
Rafa, did you see, this might have been 2 weeks ago, and we've never talked about it on the podcast. I don't know if it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, but TJ Watt did the whole peace thing. Like he's at the end of his contract. He has been the face of the franchise. He has been everything to that organization, and he just wants to get paid. Max has gotten paid. Myles Garrett has gotten paid, and TJ Watt, and other than Micah Parsons, those are the four. Right? Those are the four top defensive ends. 2 of them have been paid, right? Garrett and Crosby. TJ Watt wants to get paid, and Micah's about to get paid. So I'm just saying, side note, gotta watch out for that. Pittsburgh needs a running back. This draft is very running back heavy.
But I don't see them taking one in the first round.
Agree.
All right.
Man, I fucking love the NFL draft. It's so fucking good. You see the excitement in my I'm so excited. I want to do a show tomorrow. Who wants to do a show tomorrow? I'm so excited for it. I know you're playing golf, man. I know you are. Yeah.
I'm playing golf.
Yeah, maybe Zach will.
That was the excuse of many to nobodies occurrences.
Yes. We always golf is very high up there in the priority list.
So let's get to some NBA talk since we're off the NFL draft. So NBA, you had the Lakers last night beat Minnesota at home. They got their ass whooped at home in game 1.
Ass whooped.
I watched game 1 and it felt like they were so outmatched. And I think they were outmatched on the defensive side of the ball. And I believe you need more production from Jackson Hayes. I'm not talking about 12 points. I'm talking about stay on the fucking floor. I'm talking about 8 or 9 rebounds. You have to be able, especially you're a role player and you're a bottom feeder role player, Jackson Hayes, who's starting. you have to be able to give your team 28 to 32 minutes on the floor and 8 or 9 rebounds a night with 4 to 6 putbacks. Like you really you have to be able to keep possessions alive. You have to be able to defend. Last night he had played like 9 minutes and had 5 fouls, and he started the game.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the comments were, LeBron played like shit. He looked like shit. The problem is if you watch the second and third quarter of that game, LeBron is doing a lot. He's doing a lot of the helping on the defensive side of the ball.
This is not his thing.
Which not anymore.
No.
Not anymore. And I think he had a couple blocks, but that he cannot sustain that at his age. And he's sitting there guarding Rudy Gobert in the block. And Rudy is just, he's younger, he's stronger, he's all of that. And he's not a great offensive player. But you definitely, for the Lakers, you need a lot more help on that defense side of the ball. Jackson Hayes, you got to be able to step up. And that Minnesota crowd on Friday night is going to be insane. I mean,
I thought about it last night. You make a great point. And I could be off. This guy was probably way better. But he's like a very, very poor DeAndre Jordan. Like he always makes a splash because no one's guarding him. Someone gets to the rim. It seems like it's every game. He has 2 or 3 easy lobs in the first quarter, and he disappears.
And he disappears.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to come by against Gobert. It's going to be tough to come by. But when you have LeBron and Luka who can get to the basket, they command a double team within 10 to 12 feet that they can get there. So you got to be in the game. You have to be in the game to be able to get those buckets. But when you're playing 9 minutes in game 2, I think it was like 6 minutes left and he'd only played 9 minutes because he had 5 fouls. And you started the game. It's insane. And you're guarding Rudy Gobert. You're not guarding Shaq. Okay? You're not guarding the Joker. It's fucking Rudy Gobert.
It's Rudy.
Hey, it's not Embiid. It's not Embiid. It's not this offensive fucking mastermind.
No.
At center. It's not. It's fucking Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
So Jackson Hayes, he's got to play at least 28 minutes a game for the Lakers to be able to win this series. Because if not, they're in trouble.
This is the one thing I thought about all day with you, Rafa. This is the one question that I have for you. And because social media went crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen it. When I forgot who drove to the basket, they smacked, LeBron in the face. LeBron goes down. It's like the Zapruder film, like Kennedy got shot. We thought he was all dead. When he took out we thought his nose was going to be, like to the side or whatever. But there is a social media buzz where he's covering his eyes and he looks like, is the camera looking? I mean, it's a trick shot. Like, of course he knows the camera's looking, but everyone's calling him out because he always gets called out on flopping and faking. But that's not my question. My question to you is this, Rafa. And I'm watching these 2 games, and I do feel there's a different energy. For the first time, Luka came on, the energy was great. I feel like it's a Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani thing. This is the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. This is the first time in NBA history, or at least in LeBron's history, where he is not the best player on the court on his team. And I'm not sure that he likes it. I could be off, but his energy seems off.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. Okay.
Please do.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. By the way, this is the first time,
right?
This is the first time that he's not the best player on his team on the court at the time, right?
Yeah.
But and he knows it and he understands it. And this is after watching game 1 and even game 2. When you watch both these games, it reminds me of Miami in 2011 in the finals against Dallas, where I feel like, especially in game 1, I feel like LeBron kind of let Luka kind of carry and kind of defer to him and, let him get going first. And that's what LeBron did with D-Wade. And then it was like, at the end of the series, they end up losing the series. He had a terrible fourth quarters because he was so passive to shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was kind of told, like after the series, like, listen, this is your team. You got to drive the thing. I still believe that LeBron needs to drive this vehicle. But he's still the smarter player. He's still, no matter what, more athletic than Luka.
Oh my God, you might be more athletic than Luka.
LeBron,
it's so weird to watch, is it, CJ? It's so weird to watch.
He's just very unorthodox player. I'll say that.
It's Joker-like.
Yeah, LeBron needs to get going. Because LeBron gets more players involved than Luka does. And I don't give a shit what people say. You can watch it on a nightly basis. LeBron gets more players involved in the offense than Luka does. And you can't sit and wait and have Luka go off for 14 in the first quarter when nobody else has shot more than 2 shots. And this team there's 3 horses there's 3 horses that are leading this this carriage. They're the ones that are pulling it. It's Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Luka. Yeah. You need 20 points and 15 to 18 shots a night from Austin Reeves. You need them. Okay? You don't need a 40-point night from Luka and 12 from Reeves and 12 from you and 18 from LeBron. You need 35 from Luka, you need 20 from Reeves, and you need 20 to 25 from LeBron for you to be successful, because you need to be able on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to struggle. There's no doubt about it. And that's when you look back and let's say they get eliminated in this round or even in the next round, right? Which the next round would kind of pin them against Golden State. People are going to look back and they're going to say all sorts of things. Oh, Luka, the Lakers and LeBron and Luka led the team. When you look at the Mavs team from last year compared to this Laker team, that Mavs team was better constructed for Luka's skill set. Mm-hmm. They had elite defenders on that Dallas team. Okay, they had at least 2 that can defend. This Laker team has nobody that can defend. Okay, when you watch that Dallas team last year, you had Derrick Jones Jr., who could defend. He was a wing defender, a guy who was able to defend and shoot the 3. That's what he was. This Laker team doesn't have that. They don't have guys who can defend. So you need to get the role players involved. It's a must, and Luka does not do that. I'm sorry, but he does not do that. And they got great starts both games in the first quarter. And even in game 1, you're like, oh, this is going to be one of those series where they're just going to blow them out. And then all of a sudden, LeBron can't get going. And this guy can't get going. This guy can't get going because he's not shooting shots. If I'm the Lakers, I need Austin Reeves to have 4 or 5 shots in that first quarter. Luka can take his 8 or 10. I need Austin Reeves to have 4 to 5 shots. And I need the ball in LeBron James's hand for the most part. That's what the Lakers need to do. But and to me, I watched LeBron kind of defer to Luka, which is fine. He's the better player. The problem is LeBron gets everyone else going at a level that Luka doesn't. And if you watch the Mavs all of last year and their playoff run, you watch Kyrie and you can go back and you can fucking watch all of the games. I can't tell you how many games Kyrie had to get going in that fourth quarter for them to take the lead, for them to win that game, to put it away, was because they needed Kyrie in that fourth quarter. And he just kind of sat around. So I think the Lakers need LeBron to lead a little more than what Luka's leading. Luka is the best player on the team, yes. LeBron is the most skillful and the smartest by far, and he will get the other guys involved. So I believe LeBron needs to lead you to win this series. And even the next series, if they win this one, because the next one's going to be against Golden State.
Yeah. No, I agree. Gabe Vincent has actually played really well. He's doing what he's supposed to do. You need Vanderbilt. You said they can't play. Vanderbilt's supposed to be your guy on defense. But I just feel like something's off, and what's going to happen. They better not get beaten this first round because LeBron will be buried. He will
100%.
Buried.
But people who don't understand, who don't watch, they will not understand that Luka's Mavs team last year was better constructed than this Laker team is. Yeah. There's a bottom line that you cannot hide the fact that there is no defense on this Laker team. You just can't. Yeah. You just can't. You saw it last night when the T-Wolves got back into the game.
Well, they held the T-Wolves to like a season low all the time. But
Well, they also shot like 4 for 20 from three at one
and
point.
there was a ton of conspiracy who I talked to Laker fans today, and they all don't disagree that the officiating was wild, like wildly against Minnesota. Like they really handicapped. I mean, you talk about Vincenzo, how many? I mean, there's a theory that they need the Lakers to move past, and the officiating was really bad.
Yeah, DiVincenzo had some fouls there that were just brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just brutal to watch, and yeah, he had like 4 quick ones. It
And
felt
then,
like.
and then Reggie Miller was calling the shit out live on TV. Like he's like, guys, like I've never seen a commentator, especially as big as Reggie Miller, completely to say, what are we doing here? There was 2 challenges that were approved that were really bad, and Reggie Miller was calling the shit out. It was like, whoa, this is
Yeah, and I've seen it felt like fucking every foul call was challenged almost.
yeah.
Like fuck every call. I mean, Edwards had one there where he's yelling at the bench to review, and they didn't review it, and if they would have, it would have been a foul anyways. I mean, his body, hands part of the ball, but only in certain situations, and blah blah blah. But
And yeah, how many times is Randall doing this after a fucking play?
yeah, Randall's doing it every time. Like Randall thinks he never fouls. He might be right. He might be right once, but that's the Lakers and T-Wolves. That game 3 is on Friday night in Minnesota. As I told you last week, that the Golden State Warriors were going to tap that Houston Rockets ass, and my buddy who loves the Warriors, he's a Steph Curry fan. He used to be a Bulls fan. He loves Michael Jordan, hates LeBron James, so of course he would like Curry because he hates LeBron. And he's texting me. It's like, oh, first quarter, he texted me, the Rockets are going to blow them out. The Warriors have no chance in this series. I'm like, dude, do you watch basketball ever?
What?
Like I said it last week. The Rockets are one of those teams that they just went through the season and somehow won 52 games. But when we look at it, they're still too young. And I know they have Fred VanVleet, and that's it. That everyone else is a young player for the most part. They're core of young players. They have Dylan Brooks who plays defense and all that. This Warriors team arguably has one of the best defensive players of all time in Draymond Green. They have one of the best two-way guards of this era in Jimmy Butler. They have the best coach of this era in Steve Kerr. And they have the best shooter of all time.
Yeah. So,
I mean, when you put all of that together, they're going to beat a team. And I'd be shocked if the Rockets even won tonight. And even if they win tonight, I still think they lose this series in 5. When you have that, they can make a good run. And even the next series, whoever they play, whether it's the Lakers or the T-Wolves, I think they still have an advantage in that next series. I really do. I think the only team in the West that can beat the Warriors, in my opinion, the Lakers would be too tough because they don't play enough defense. Yeah. But I believe it's either Denver or the Clippers.
Yeah.
That's the only team. And the Thunder, they've blown the Grizzlies out of the water. The Grizzlies, they've looked awful.
I want to ask you that, Rafa. Let me interject here because Memphis at one point at like I said, the All-Star break was the number 2. They were sitting the number 2 spot. Now, Ja doesn't look healthy, but his body language is horrific. Is Memphis this bad, Rafa? Or
no.
Is OKC this good? Which one is it?
I can I say neither? Is that a fucking possibility?
I mean, that's
neither?
not what I asked. But I guess you can. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
I think Memphis. I think Memphis did a terrible job in firing their head coach 2 weeks before the season, as we saw Denver do.
Yeah,
and because I know they fell from the 2 seed all the way down to the 8 or the 7 or whatever it was, the 8 I think it was, but. They have a roster that's good enough to compete against this Thunder team. I know Thunder had 2 games at home. Memphis was kind of in that game. They got the lead down to, I think, 10 or 11 in the 4th.
Even closer, I think. Even like
and then
8.
And then it kind of took off on them again. Ja didn't have a great night. Started awful from the field. The game 3 is going to be super telling. The start of game 3. And if Minnesota doesn't jump out to like a 10-point lead, or I'm sorry, Memphis, they don't jump out to like a 10-point lead by halftime. they can just kiss the entire series goodbye. And a lot of people think the series is over, and probably in 5 if Memphis can even win this next game. And I was kind of thinking last night after watching that game, does Memphis, if they get swept in the series or even lose in 5 and they've been losing ugly for the most part, do they move away from Ja at the end of the season? Do they find an out for Ja? Because it's too much drama. And when you look at what they've done without Ja the last handful of years, even the year that they had a really good, and I think they were the number 1 or the number 2 seed, they still did well without him when he wasn't on the floor. And this year, when he wasn't on the floor, he didn't even play, I don't think, 55 games this year. They still did well without him on the floor. Can they move on from Ja after the season, especially if getting swept in the series or even losing in 5, because they're, like I said, they're losing ugly? Can they move on from Ja and find a taker for Ja and say, fuck it, we have Jaren Jackson Jr., and maybe we can find another guy and move on? That's a telling sign for something.
As you're saying this, I think I have the perfect spot. A place where they have amazing strip clubs. Not that I've been there, but I've heard. And very strict gun laws.
Atlanta for Stray Young?
No. And very strict gun laws. We put them in Toronto. Great strip clubs, tough gun laws. I think it's the perfect place for Ja. Could really focus on what he needs to focus on.
Atlanta, a lot of people are saying might want to move on from Trae Young. Trae Young for Ja trade, and piecing Trae Young with Jaren Jackson Jr. would be a great pick and roll. 2 guys who can shoot the outside shot. Jaren Jackson can obviously play all over the court. That's also a great move. And you put Ja in Atlanta, where he can go to strip clubs and carry a gun. It's all great for him.
Yeah, and very good wings at the strip club, from what I've heard.
So
excellent wings.
The next series, Celtics, they're going to be up 2-0.
No. Let's go back. No. We got to talk about the Clippers, man.
We'll get to that one because want to. So you got the Celtics and the Magic. They're up 2-0 tonight. This kind of series is pretty much over.
What, Celtics and Pistons? Oh no, I'm sorry. That's
Celtics and Magic.
Oh yeah, that's over, Johnny.
Celtics and Magic is over. Cleveland's up, 12 tonight. They're probably going to go up 2-0. And then Golden State and Houston, we covered that already. Yep. The Pistons and Knicks. I mean, the Pistons set basketball back 100 years in that third quarter. They scored like fucking 9 points in 10 minutes. And the Knicks, I mean,
what's going on?
What's going on? We talked about it last week. As Tibbs has run a lot of these guys into the ground all year long. Like when you look at that roster, they have like 3 of the 8 guys with the most minutes played in the league or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's brutal. That's brutal there.
There's no way the Knicks don't. I mean, there's no way the Knicks don't pull that out.
Oh my God! To me, there's no way the Knicks lose this series. I didn't think they would lose. I didn't think they would lose 2 games.
I said, watch Caldwell. He's gonna get a couple. He's gonna make it tougher than you thought, man.
Yeah, it looks and the series looks good. So 1-1 series, and then you have the Bucks have looked awful. Lillard played last night. He looked, it looked like you kind of forced them back in for that game 2. I would have held them out for until at least game 3. So Milwaukee will be at home. Let's see if they can do something. Indiana just looks good so far. I mean, able to shoot the ball from everywhere. And then the best series, and we've seen it.
You called it.
The best series of Nuggets and the Clippers, man.
Yeah.
Man, how both of the games were good. And the Clippers can easily be up 2-0. And as the Nuggets believe they could be up 2-0.
Yeah.
I think the Nuggets, when you watch them lose game 2, I really believe that's where you're missing Mike Malone. Like I felt like that was what am I missing here? And I think I'm missing Mike Malone.
So I didn't get to watch the first half, but I was listening to it. I was driving to San Diego for work, and I listened to the first half on the radio, and it was a Kawhi love fest. I wish I could have came back and watched it, because this announcer was like completely ejaculating all over himself over Kawhi. And it sounded like, it was relevant and completely just
warranted.
Yes. And we all said it, right? When Kawhi is on, motivated and healthy, he is top. I'm going to say top 3
in the league. There's no doubt about it.
in the
He's
league.
In the league, there's no doubt about it. He's one of the 3 best players in the league when he's healthy. And he looked out even in game 1. He kind of disappeared at the end of game 1, and Harden carried that, and he had 30 something or whatever, and they lost by 2. But when you watched him that first half in game 2, he looked like 2019 Kawhi, like that Toronto Raptors Kawhi. He looked phenomenal. And if that's the Kawhi the Clippers are getting, with the way James Harden and Norman Powell can score and play basketball, and Zubac.
And Zubac is great.
He's playing fucking awesome. So the Clippers look like a team that can win the West and even win the whole fucking thing. I think
you
so.
know what, Robert? This is ridiculous. Clip that shit.
I'm saying it. The way they're playing, if you get Kawhi Leonard, if this is the Kawhi Leonard that you're getting, we saw him beat the Warriors. All granted, the Warriors were hurt. They got Clay hurt and Durant in that series. They played very little. But if you get a 2019 Kawhi like you got in game 2, the Clippers can win this whole fucking thing.
Listen, Rafa, listen. What you're saying is all facts, right? But a leopard doesn't change the spots. A tiger doesn't change the stripes. I've lost 70-something pounds. But put me in front of a Tommy's after I haven't ate in a little bit, and I'm getting the fucking double chili burger, chili cheese fries, and chili hot dog. That is what the fucking Clippers are going to do. I'm sorry, man. They're going to fuck this shit up somehow. They're going to fuck this shit up somehow. But I agree with you. They look like what you're saying. I just can't believe in them.
So Kawhi's averaging 30. Okay. He's averaging 30 in this in the 2 games.
Yeah.
He's shooting, which is even more impressive, 70% from the field. Okay, he's shooting 70% from a guy. And we're talking about a guy who doesn't play near the basket.
Yeah.
So we're talking about who's averaging 30 in 2 games. He's shooting 70% from the field. So you have an idea, comparables. The next closest guy is Steph Curry, obviously at 63% because he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But all the next guys are all bigs. So for a guy, he's averaging 30. He's shooting 70% from the field in 2 games.
He was like 9 of 11 in the first half, though. I mean, that's being hot.
He was
hot.
On fire. Yeah. He was, but it was, I'm trying to see what Harden's done in the series. Because he had a big night in game 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Harden's averaging 25 in the series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you listen, and can they sustain that? 30 and 25 is a ton of points. Can they sustain it? They're capable of, because they're both elite players in their own respective, they are both elite players. If you have 2 players, we're not even including Norman Powell and Zubac.
Yeah.
We're talking about these 2 guys. If these 2 guys are playing at the level they played game 1 and game 2, there is not one team in the NBA. I don't give a fuck. The OKC Thunder or whoever. It doesn't matter. The Clippers, after 2 games, and I know the series is 1-1, they could have easily won game 1 and been up 2-0, and then the Nuggets would be in deep shit. If they can keep this pace, there's no doubt in my mind that the Clippers can win this whole fucking thing.
I mean, there's only 2 players that come to mind. It's Tatum and Brown that can really be as good as those 2 at their highest level.
And even then, at their highest level, the way we're talking about these guys today, at their highest level, not Luka and LeBron, not Jaylen Brown and fucking Tatum, not SGA and fucking Chet. Okay, not Jalen Brunson and fucking any one of those other turds you want to mention.
Yeah.
I mean, not Ant and fucking Randall and fucking, you can give them Gobert and Reed.
Yep.
Not 4 of those dudes. If these 2 guys are playing the way they played the first 2 games and they stay at that, there is no team that can beat them. Zubac is playing exceptional. Norman Powell. The thing is with the Clippers, when you put Kawhi to the bench, you still have 2 other guys that can score 25 a night. And we've seen it from Norman Powell. We've seen it from James Harden. And James Harden didn't have a good game 2. He had a great game 1. He didn't have a
Yeah.
good game 2. They still won that game. Okay, they still won that game. Zubac, he's had a good game. But and you can kind of tell with Denver that they're missing Mike Malone. There is no doubt about it. Their rotations, to me, I don't like Denver's rotations at all. Christian Brown, I don't think he's a good enough shooter from the outside to be, and that's why he's being left so open so many times. Aaron Gordon settled for way too many threes. You know, so with them, Denver has to get Michael Porter Jr. going. Jamal Murray's going to get his. We know what the Joker's going to do. Michael Porter Jr. needs to give you 18 to 20 for you to be able to beat this Clipper team.
At least.
They really do. You cannot depend on Joker getting you 35, 12, and 12. You cannot depend on that.
Actually, he has all year though, almost.
Well, he has, but you're sitting in the 5 seed or in the 4 seed.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been impressed, even though there's series of 1-1. I've been most impressed with the Clippers going into Denver on the road, and that's the team that's impressed me the most for me after the first 2 games.
Get us some tickets to the Intuit Dome, man. I mean, it's going to be amazing.
That's going to be a good one. I think that's.
I got a question for the both of you. I just remember in the middle of the season, us just talking so much shit about the NBA and what it was and what it wasn't becoming. And now I just feel like there's just literally mid-season, ever pretty much since the Luka trade to LA, there's been a resurrection. Even me, like I'm watching it. You know, I've started watching it since Luka got traded to the Lakers. So what do you think happened? You know, obviously the Luka trade was big, but what do you think happened in the middle of the season that just revived the NBA?
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Because I was the biggest shit talker. Actually, Rafa was like trying to calm me down. Like, I'm like, NBA is over. This is the analytic thing. Everyone's taking threes. I said everything. This shit is done. There's no more positions. I said it all, man. And I want to say, because I'm a Laker fan, the Luka thing was an adrenaline shot. And if you ever, CJ, I'm going to ask you a question, and please answer this right. Have you ever seen Pulp Fiction? Oh my God, that's a no.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I know what it is, but I've never seen it.
Okay. This was an adrenaline shot to the heart of, partly because it was biggest star to the Lakers. But then I started watching more, and I've Jalen Brunson. You start watching SGA, and you're right. 100% CJ, you are right. I have been energized. I watch NBA basketball, and I was completely off of it. Like, I was done with it. And a lot of people were saying the same shit.
Yeah.
So I want to say it was Luka to the Lakers. But I feel there has to be more, right?
More. Yeah, like
because
that's why I included that in the description, in the explanation. But I just felt like that couldn't be it. Like, what else happened?
Yeah, because I'm not only watching the Lakers now.
Right.
I'm watching everything.
Exactly.
So
Rafa, NBA Genie, what you got?
Yeah.
The thing is, this is the thing. This is the thing, man. That these old heads, they don't understand how good these guys are. That's the thing. And I think finally, when you see these morons on Inside the NBA, on NBA, TNT or whatever the fuck, Chuck and these guys, they're starting to come around a little bit. They're starting to.
Push back. I gotta push back. Because it's not just that. I am somebody who agrees with you and says that athletes now are just so much better than they used to. I've always been on your side of the argument. It's not that. Me, as somebody who believes that athletes are now greater, I was seeing a product that was not good. I was seeing transition threes nonstop. I was seeing just not good basketball. And I don't think that it has to be more than that. I got to push back against that thought, Ralph.
Yeah.
The thing is, listen, when you get the playoff races going, as the season gets, now all the games, because you have 10 teams that can make the playoffs, right? Technically, or the play-in game. So on each side. So the games, there's more meaning behind them at the end of the season, where as before, the 9 and 10 seed, it didn't even fucking matter. Now you have a team who's in the 11 spot, and they're still battling to get into the 10 to get into the play-in game. So the games the games got tougher as the season went on. As the season got later, you saw better offense, and better offense, as I mean better played offense,
played,
right?
right.
Shot selection.
Right.
Shot selection so much better. And what was bad about the NBA during the season is a lot of the coaching, because the coaches, for the most part, they don't get in these guys' faces and say, "Hey, we're on a fucking 2-on-1 break. Why are we not dunking?"
You see JJ Redick the other day?
Last night.
Yeah,
He
last
was
night.
livid.
Yeah.
He was livid last night. And that's what you got. These guys, dude, you get paid way too much money to coach these guys. You need to have a say. They're making more than you, but who gives a fuck? You need to put your foot down and let them have it and understand. So when you're watching these playoff games, all of the shit that Eddie talked about and people like Eddie believed, that the league, that the players, that they suck, the offenses suck. You saw a 95-85 playoff game last a couple nights ago with the Warriors with the fucking Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
And the Houston Rockets, both teams that average over 105 a game, I believe. Okay, and that's what you saw. You saw 194 last night, the Knicks and the Pistons, or the night before, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You see a game tonight, 109 to 100.
Yes,
You're not getting these 120s, 130s. Even the Nuggets and Clippers, who shoot lights out and can score the basketball, 105, 102. You went into you went into overtime and they didn't get to the total in the first game.
Crazy.
Because it's playoff basketball, and that's what you got the last 2.5 months of the season.
It's not that. Personally, I'm an offensive guy. Like, I played on offense, any sport. I want to see points. That's why I don't watch soccer. I don't necessarily care about the fact that they're scoring 140 points. It's about how they do it. It's about, I don't want to see 140 points. It's just straight transition, jacked up threes. That's not interesting. I can go watch the 3-point fucking contest. I want to see good offense. I want to see fucking pick and roll, fucking screens, and reversing the ball and all that good stuff.
The thing is, you're getting that. If you sit and watch an actual NBA game, at any time, November, December, January, February, when you watch the first, that's how the game starts. The problem is that when you have teams that are shooting, like the Celtics, who are shooting 25 threes in the first half, and they hit 50% of those, or they have a crazy night where they hit 50%, they've already put up 36 points in the first half behind the three-point line. So when the third quarter starts, the game's 75 to 51. Of what is the other team doing? Now they're just chasing.
Right.
So now you're watching a game in the third quarter that is 75-51 to start the third. The team's down 24. What are they doing? They got to chase. So they're going to shoot threes because they're going to get them open. But when you watch the first quarter of a game, when you watch the Lakers play and you watch pick and roll to the basket, 1 pass, 2 pass, and the guy's a wide open 3, that's good offense. Whether people want to, a wide open 3 is good offense. A wide open shot is good offense. That's the thing. Like, I hate to listen to these guys. It's because back then you had guys, and because those guys couldn't shoot the basketball, I don't give a fuck what you say. You can pull up any goddamn game at any time, at any era. Playoff basketball is always going to be good, and this year has proven it already. Playoff basketball is always good no matter what. Okay,
it's not playoff hockey. I just want to give a little shout out to
never
Tiki.
playoff hockey.
Social drink.
Never playoff hockey. That's for sure.
Cheers to you.
But yeah, cheers. I got tequila in my stand. Dead ass. Right here.
Latino shit.
Yeah, he did. No, I saw him.
Dead ass.
Really,
No,
really
Eddie saw
tequila.
it. Eddie saw it.
Yeah, I saw.
So, but anyways, so playoff basketball is always good. And so these guys are watching throughout the season and they see these games that they get out of hand. It's because the shooting is so effective. That's the thing, that those leads get created. You see 20-point leads in how many NBA games during the season? And they're gone quick, but they get there. They get there. And then how are you chasing that back? By shooting wide open threes. That's the thing that people forget. Wide open shots is good basketball. I don't agree with a 3-on-1 fast break and having an open 3. That I don't like, because I prefer a 3-on-1 to end up in a dunk or a layup. That's my understanding since I played basketball, and that's how I was coached, and that's how Eddie's dad coached, I'm sure.
1000%.
So that, to me, is the only part I don't like. But when you see guys, they shot 8 threes. They were all wide open, or 7 of them were wide open. So that's not bad basketball. These old dudes want to think it's bad basketball because they used to watch Kurt Rambis not be able to shoot a 15 fucking footer. That's just what it is.
Yeah. I was so
And
embarrassed.
I'm gonna talk shit about Shaq again. I'm tired of it.
You
I'm tired
can't.
of-
Oh,
I can't talk shit about Shaq. As good as he was, as great as he was, I don't want to
what?
hear him say, "I will eat these dudes alive," because you wouldn't be able to guard fucking 25 of the centers in the NBA today. I'm sorry.
That's complete bullshit.
I don't know
25
about that, Rafa.
ridiculous.
I don't know about that one.
Complete bullshit.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't know about that one.
There's
Who?
not any Rick Smiths out there. There's no
Brooke
Rick
Lopez?
Smiths.
Lopez? Brooke Lopez is gonna fucking cook Shaq?
Brooke Lopez will sit at the 3-point line like an idiot
him-
the
let him
entire
sit.
game.
Let him sit over there.
Dude,
He's
you
he's
draw
gonna
Shaq
be
15, 18
he's
feet from
gonna
the
be
basket.
he's gonna be fucking fouled out when fucking Shaq drops his nutsack on his forehead. On his forehead. Give me a
Like,
mic.
have you seen those things on Instagram where it's like, who would beat this team? And they sit there and they put a bunch of guys, right? And it's like, oh, easy. Because you can put Kevin Durant on any one of those teams that Shaq's on, and Shaq ain't gonna go out and guard Kevin Durant.
He's
not
not.
happening.
No.
But
Not
you know what he's gonna
happening.
do? You know, he's gonna freaking pick up Rudy Gobert and Kevin Durant like a beignet and some nice fucking chocolate in New Orleans and
Good
eat his
LSU.
ass.
Oh,
I'm sorry. You just-
Giggity.
in the first half, Kobe's bounce passing, and they're going to be in foul trouble in 25 fucking seconds. Your argument is ridiculous. By the way, you're right. He ain't going out there. He's not.
He's not.
But on the block, they're moonwalking. They're moonwalking or they're fouling him.
Let
It's
me
either
ask you
one.
something. What's a more high percentage play? Shaq at the free throw line or Kevin Durant from 18 feet away?
But here's the thing, Robert. You only have so many fouls. You
I
only
have
have so
fucking
many
12
fouls.
players. I have 7 extras that I can put out there for them to foul fucking the turd.
They won 3 in a row. 3 in a row with Hack-a-Shaq. It's not like it hasn't been proven. They won 3 in a row with Hack-a-Shaq. And then I think that's the last year they tried to change, like they did as weird. If you foul in the last 2 minutes, and the guys
the last 2 minutes, it's
yeah.
Yeah, it's automatic. It was one free throw in
Yeah.
the ball or whatever. Yeah, which is fine. I'm not saying he wasn't great, but for him to discredit the Joker, it to me is
Is that-
absurd.
That's
Oh,
what
you
you're
know,
taking
I-
it as.
100%. I feel like it's disrespectful to the Joker.
Well,
Because
then just say that.
Because to me,
Then
I-
just
to me,
say that.
I don't.
Not 25 centers. Just say he's discrediting the Joker, and that's it. And that's
Well, and a healthy
a
Joel
more
Embiid. Like,
swallowable pill I could have.
the thing is, for me, like for him to sit there and say that he's an all-time player and he's the most dominant player we've ever seen. There is no doubt about that. But for me, the Joker is a more skillful player than Shaq.
Yes.
I
There's
mean,
not even a debate. It's not even a debate.
It's
Skillful.
not even a thing. So for you to
Shaq is dominant. Joker is skillful. Like those are two different things.
yeah, that's
Does it
my
not-
problem.
Rafa and CJ, does it not shock you every time you watch Luka and Joker play to see their slow feet, to see their pale white skin, to see the lack of explosiveness?
You know why
and
I'm going to
just-
say no?
And
You know
just
what I'm gonna say
do
doesn't
what they're
shock me?
doing in the NBA.
You know,
Doesn't
it's-
bother me.
It's
It
I'm
doesn't
not
shock
saying-
me though. You know
I'm
why it
not
doesn't
saying
shock
it
me?
bothers me. It
If
shocks
you
me. though.
go to any high school, go to any high school basketball game. If you go watch St. John Bosco, who is now a dominant basketball
Yeah.
powerhouse, you know, most of the kids on the team are black. If you go watch
Shocker.
Huntington Beach, Redondo Union, any of those schools where the majority of the players are white, you're going to see more technical basketball. You're not going to see more talented basketball, but you're going to see more technical basketball. All I'm saying is when I played against white kids in high school, you just see them play a more technical You see bounce passes.
CJ, can I get a quick timeout? Because I need to say this. Hurry up. I need you to put yourself on the screen when you fucking say this, or else we're going to be the most racist show in the fucking world.
When you see white kids playing in high school basketball, they play usually a more technical style of basketball. It's coaching. It's just the way it is. And so when you are able to have that foundation of technical basketball skills, it doesn't shock me. It doesn't shock me to see Jokic and Luka, and especially Eastern European dudes. Like, come on. But even in America, like I just see white kids, especially at a younger level, play more technical basketball. It's not just flying down the court and dunking. It's bounce passes, it's screens, it's reversing the ball. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great call by me by making you get on the screen fucking saying this.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It doesn't shock me though, Eddie, because you can see how skillful and how smart Joker is. That's the thing, like, goes underrated, is how intelligent Joker is. Like, that's what upsets me, that he doesn't get. I feel like he should be more. There should be more praise for Joker.
He won.
As LeBron got praise, and I know he won MVP. He should have won more. He should have won more, because to me, there is no doubt that the Joker is the best player in the NBA right now. Like, I don't give a fuck if you think it's SGA or Jason Tatum or Luka.
No, there's only one right now. It's SGA. That's it.
That would even be close to him. But
do you
to me,
it has to be the fact that he's European and he doesn't, and he gives off the persona that he
no, it's because he's fat, slow, and unathletic.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's
that's
that.
what it is.
It's that, but it's also the fact that it seems like he doesn't care, which we know he does. Because if he didn't care, Eddie, if he didn't care, he wouldn't be able to shoot the basketball the way he shoots the basketball, the way he understands, the way he runs the point as a big, the way he can literally bring the ball up the court, understand how the offense moves, all of that. That's him caring. Him being able to shoot the ball from up here, where he's able to shoot the ball from back here, from the three-point line with a 7-footer on him. Like, that's not something that he just wakes up to every morning. He works on that as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, he doesn't get the praise. Is it because he's in Denver? Is it because he's Eastern European? Is it because he's big and slow? Is it all of that? And to me, it's upsetting to me, to be honest with you, because I believe that he's the best player in the league, and I don't think it's even close. Like, SGA, he had a great season, but when we look at the numbers, Luka, the Joker averaged a triple-double. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, nobody gives a fuck. And for people to believe, the triple-double used to be a big thing. And then Russell Westbrook did it. Well, Russell Westbrook did it the first year, and then he did it again. Yeah. And then people were like, "Oh, it's not a big deal." Yeah. It's still a big fucking deal. It is still a hell of an accomplishment
for a center,
for anyone. For anyone, it's more impressive for Russell, to be honest with you, who is a point guard.
I'm a smaller guy, yeah.
A smaller guy, and so to me, I think it's disrespectful for fans to not kind of, hold Joker, and it's more the media, it's not even the fans, to kind of like, put Joker up there and understand the greatness that we're seeing, because we got LeBron was held up there, and Kobe, and they're trying to literally force Ant on you, and Jason Tatum. They're like, oh, these are the next guys up. No, there is no next guy up, because the guy who's up is still up and can still be the MVP every goddamn year. And that's a Joker, and there is no doubt about it. And could it be that he's white and all of the media is now black? The sports media on ESPN, they're mostly black. Is that? Because I'll tell you what, if the Joker was named fucking Joel Embiid, they would be sucking his dick.
Well, he won an MVP because of it.
Literally.
But I will say this. I don't think it's because he's white. I don't think it's because he's black. I don't think it's because ESPN is woke, and I don't think because of whatever. It's because he is not the shot that looks ugly that he shoots from 8 foot high, the bounce pass, the drop step, it looks like a mammoth running down the court. It's because he's not marketable. It's because when he gets 32, 12, and 10, it's the most unimpressive 32, 12, and 10. There's no highlights. I told you last night when we were watching Ant, that dunk. Ant went to go dunk on Jackson, whatever the fuck his name is, went to the left and dunked on him sideways. I had never seen that. And I'm glad it wasn't, it was incredible. He was losing by 11.
And talking shit.
Joker's plays are not wow. They're almost like, huh? They're like, how does he do this?
That's why I
How do you-
like it, because the passes come out of nowhere.
Well,
I
the
mean,
thing is with Joker, when you watch him handle the ball, he handles the ball better than SGA.
oh, well, that's
Oh,
wild.
he handles the ball. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
I'm not talking about Kyrie handles. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not talking about crossover. I'm
okay.
talking about with
Mentally.
a basketball in his hand. I'm talking
Yeah.
about understanding all the passing lanes.
Mhm.
I'm talking about finding the right guy, understanding
Mhm.
where his guys are at. When he's got the ball in his hand, he's a better passer than SGA. He's a better passer than Steph Curry.
Okay.
He's a better
Yes.
passer than probably 85% of the point guards in the NBA. He's a better passer than most of those guys.
Maybe ever. That's the crazy part.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He's a better
Yeah.
passer, and he understands where everyone's at, and we don't give him enough praise for it. And it's upsetting. It really is. If this guy decides to leave fucking Denver and is somehow on the Lakers, which wouldn't have, you never know, right? But probably
Yeah.
not. Or if he was on the Knicks.
Shaq came to the Lakers. Anything is possible.
Well, yeah, but I mean, could that propel him for everyone to talk about? He had a 60-point triple-double. I know it was in overtime, maybe a
Yeah.
double overtime. It's still 60-point
Still 60
triple-double. A 60-point triple-double, and we got not a peep out of it. I know they lost the game by 1. Not his fault. But there wasn't a peep. There wasn't a peep. And for me, when you're the best player in the league, you need to be held in that. And if you watch the NBA, and there's no way that Stephen A. Smith doesn't fucking believe that the Joker is not the best player in the NBA. He should be talking about the Joker every goddamn morning. He should be talking about Joker. The thing is, he doesn't talk about Joker because his brothers will probably beat his ass, unlike LeBron. The brothers will just go and fuck him up. They won't give a fuck. What you say about my brother? Da, 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 and fuck him up.
Yeah.
So, but they should and they understand. And Perkins dogs him too. They don't give him his props, and they should. ESPN needs to give Joker his props as NBA on fucking TNT. They need to do that as well. And that's kind of upsetting to me.
Can we address B-Tap's wife disrespecting this whole show right now? Are you not watching what's going on?
That's B-Tap.
That's B-Tap, yeah.
Yeah, B-Tap, if you don't talk about anything that he doesn't like
The Angels?
oh my God. Yeah, if you don't talk about anything he doesn't like, he falls off the map. He doesn't.
Let's talk
I
5.
Yeah, I got to run in about 20 minutes. So
okay.
Yeah.
5-10 minutes baseball. 5-10 minutes baseball. There's not a lot to be said. I will say this. Blake Snell, a throwing session. They're putting him on IR again. This is why I want to punch all those people that went all in on Dodgers easily gonna win the World Series. This is baseball. Rafa, we both knew this. This is not something that you can buy a championship. That's not how baseball works. It's a game of longevity. It's a game of averages, and baseball you play every other day. We've seen Freddie Freeman.
You play every day.
Slip in the fucking shower and miss fucking 3 weeks. Baseball is that fragile. But have we been shocked? Dodgers lose again tonight.
Again, gave up 7 runs tonight, and
yeah,
so they gave up 7 again. They gave up 11 last night, 7 tonight.
Yeah,
they're still 16-9. They're struggling on the road. They're under 500 on the road.
Yeah.
But to me, I think the Dodgers roster, I still think is the best roster in baseball. They have holes, as every major league team has holes.
Glaring.
The problem with with the Dodgers holes, is that their holes that aren't hitting also don't play good defense.
Exactly.
That's the problem. Their holes,
exactly.
And that's the thing. Listen, if you can't make plays on the field and you can't hit, then you're a fucking problem, Max Muncy. The Dodgers holding on to him, it's getting fucking real annoying here. So but I don't think the Dodgers have an issue. I still think baseball is still the toughest sport. And it's the only sport, by the way. And I saw something, a guy did a little piece on Instagram, which is actually phenomenal. It's the toughest sport. It's the toughest championship to win.
I agree.
whether you want to believe it or not, CJ, because I know you're going to say something.
Well, you saying baseball? You saying the World Series is the toughest to
Is
win?
the World
To win a
Series
championship.
the World Series is the toughest championship to win.
Because you know why, CJ? I'll tell you this. Because it's almost never the best team that wins.
Besides that, if we
It's
go
hard.
back,
It's just hard for me to put one and done sports. One and done playoffs are hard for me to put. Anything.
okay. So I'll tell you, we can just run it real quick. The Chiefs have won three Super Bowls in the last 7. They've won 3. They've won 3 Super Bowls in the last 8 years. They've won 3 Super Bowls in the last 8 years. For
10
the
years.
toughest 8 since Mahomes has been playing, it's 8. So it doesn't matter. The 8, 9, 10, whatever. It's 3 in 8 or 9, right? That's 3. The Eagles,
Really? 3?
the Eagles have been to 2 Super Bowls, or they've been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 10 years. They've won twice. So the Eagles and the Chiefs have 5 Super Bowls. You can't name there's not one team in the MLB that has 3 World Series in the last 20. There's not one. The Dodgers won 2020 and they won last year. Other than that,
it's not like a super. I'm not like super staunched on the opinion. I'm just saying it's hard for me to put series playoffs in front of one and done playoffs. It's just my opinion.
yeah, but if you go by the actual, like usually in the NBA, either the 1, 2, or the 3 seed always win the title. That's the way it's been in the NBA for I don't know how many years, right?
Forever.
In forever, right? In the Super Bowl, in the NFL, you've had wild card teams win the Super Bowl. You've had
Raiders,
teams get there.
83.
Relax. We're talking more recent. But so in baseball, you have take 99. You have the 99. Was it 99 Marlins, right? Or
Yeah.
was it 99? It was the 99 Marlins.
Yeah.
In 2001, you had the D-backs.
D-backs.
And then you had the Marlins again in 07 or whatever.
Yeah.
They missed the playoffs like every other year since then. And they weren't even in the shit before that.
Yeah.
So since 2014 or 2012 or whatever, you don't have any repeat. That's the other thing. You don't get repeat champions in baseball. It's very hard. Since the Yankees in the late 90s, you don't get that. In the NFL, you have in the NFL every year. In the NFL, look at who they are.
Like I said, I'll say that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. I don't necessarily know if I qualify baseball as being the hardest sport. And then again, I get what you mean. I understand that to win an MLB series or a World Series it's ridiculously difficult. But again, just the fact that you're getting multiple chances at a team is hard for me.
Yeah, but it's not. It's different pitchers every night. That's the thing.
I get you.
And when you have Patrick Mahomes, who's favored to win the Super Bowl every fucking year, or the favored to get to the Super Bowl every year, and when you had Tom Brady, who was favored to get to the Super Bowl every year, you had Peyton Manning, who was favored to get to the Super Bowl every fucking year.
You just listed three at the top.
Well, but still, that's just kind of the steps that we've taken. Those are the steps that have gone, right? So in the NBA, when you have Steph Curry and LeBron, it was like, all right, we're going to have 4 finals in a row with fucking Steph Curry and LeBron because they're the 2 best players in the league.
Yeah,
when Michael Jordan was the best player in the league, Michael Jordan was the best player in the league. Or when you had Larry Bird and Mike.
Baseball's a failure sport.
And baseball, you don't have that. And baseball, you don't have that. You have the Dodgers that are the best roster in baseball. And they can easily look at they've lost 2 games to the Cubs this week. They can easily go in. They were down 2-0 to the Padres last year. And then came back and won 3. So they can easily, the best team doesn't always win. And in the NFL, a lot of the times, the best team wins. That's the difference. But anyways, let's get to a little bit of hockey real quick. The NHL playoffs.
Yes, I'm going to step away really quickly.
The NHL playoffs, to me, are still probably the best playoffs.
It's the best watch. It's the best watch.
The best watch in sports. Dude, there is just no. I mean, there's nothing like
the intensity.
Oh my god! And a game 7, there's no better game 7 than the hockey game 7. There is no better game 7 than a hockey game 7 because you're getting a 1-1, 2-1, 3-2 at best.
Yeah.
At best, rare we're getting a 4-1, 5-0, 5-1 win.
Yeah, I heard a crazy stat, Rafa. the announcer, the radio announcer from the Kings, when the Kings won their last championship, they were the only team in NHL history to win 3 road game 7s and win the Stanley Cup. Like shit like that. Like it is every shift, every second, every bounce of the puck is so important and so it's just so intense. You're on the edge of the seat every 2 seconds and it delivers. And if you're not watching it, you're cheating yourself because it delivers every freaking time. So let's talk about it. Who do we like? What do we like?
Oh man, Kings shit on the Oilers. That's a game tonight.
Yeah.
They're playing that series. I feel like Edmonton's kind of struggled a little bit this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I just and I know McDavid was hurt and he just came back to the last game of the season. And can they get going tonight in Staples? Can they get going tonight? I don't know if they can.
Well, we've seen McDavid be silent, for 3 periods and then have a winning goal. He is that type of talent. He is the best player in hockey where even if things aren't going right, he is still that dude no matter what. He's the most talented and most fun to watch for me player in the league. So there's no question, that they can get going tonight because for me, home ice advantage is probably the least important thing in hockey.
In hockey, I think so. I think when it gets down to it, when you look at the NHL playoffs, home ice, it feels like it means almost nothing.
Can I say why I think?
Go ahead.
Because that puck bounces. It's like the football, right? That puck just bounces weird sometimes, man. It might give you 3 or 4 lucky bounces and give you an open shot, right? I mean, there's better teams and there's more physical teams, but sometimes that puck just bounces weird. I mean,
don't know.
I could be wrong.
I feel like the guys in hockey, I think their mindset. Look at Minnesota last night. I mean, Minnesota goes into Vegas last night. They're up 3-0 after the first period. They're up 4-0 in that game.
Yeah.
Halfway through the second. To have a mindset to go into Vegas, number one, you've now spent a couple of nights in that town and you still show up for that game too. And Minnesota just basically, put the skate on their fucking neck and basically slash their necks off in game 2, to go in there, to go into Vegas, a team who's, since their expansion has done very, very well.
Oh,
to go in there last night, and that town loves the Knights, and
to win in that town is crazy.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. It's special. And for Minnesota to go in there, I think it's just like a mental toughness for hockey players, I believe, is so much different than in other sports. I think like they throw that off. Like they could give a fuck where they're playing.
Yeah.
And that's why I think, when we get these teams winning on the road with such ease last night, like it felt like Minnesota last night. I mean, it just felt easy for them in that first period. Just watching them kind of, and the Knights were, think about this. They were at one point, they both each had 9 shots on goal, but Minnesota had scored twice.
Yeah.
Minnesota had put 2 in the net. And then to get that third, still in the first, it just kind of felt like, like Minnesota kind of said, fuck you. And I feel like the NHL guys, for the most part, I feel like their mindset, I feel like is more controlled for that environment. Like it doesn't bother them. They don't see the light. They could give 3 fucks about the fans on the road, I think. For me, it just seems so it's so good.
Let me ask you this, because we are the gambling show of record and we love to gamble. Do you have any preference in the NHL playoffs? Because we all know NBA basketball, every possession counts. Shit slows down. We've seen teams score their lowest, totals all year. Do you like overs or unders in NHL playoffs?
See, I'm in for the playoffs. I'm an under guy for the for the NHL playoffs, especially game sevens. Like game sevens, when that under sits at like 5,
Oh,
5.5,
man.
it's like, oh, you're just begging to take that under, right? So even last night, like the Minnesota and the Knights game, that total was 5.5.
Yeah.
And so you had the Wild jump out to a 3-0 lead in that first period. It's kind of like, oh fuck, and for you to, for the most part, when you're watching these totals, if that road team gets going, then that home team then kind of starts to feed off the crowd a little bit. And if the game's like 2-0 road team, then you gotta, if you had the under, you're kind of in danger, because that road team might not be able to hold them off too long, and you might get like a 4-2 or 4-3 game or something like that. But so I always lean towards the under in these games.
Yeah.
But you had Florida on the road in Tampa, and they looked fucking phenomenal in that first game. I mean, Florida just came out and was fucking flying by.
You think about these teams, Florida, Carolina, Tampa, it's so good. It's
Up until
so
last year, Tampa had owned Florida
yeah.
in the playoffs. I mean, Tampa had owned the Panthers in the playoffs, and then the Panthers won it last year, and last night's game, 6-2 to come out and just jump on Tampa like that. It was shocking to see for Florida, and they're playing tomorrow night. If Florida gets up 2-0, that series might be done quick. So we'll see. I mean, in Carolina, I think they played not Washington. Who did Carolina? Who's Carolina playing? Let me see.
Not Ottawa.
No, Ottawa's playing
No.
Toronto. And Toronto's kind of jumped on them, and Toronto's up 2-0 in that series. Who's Carolina playing? Carolina's playing the Devils. So Carolina's up 2-0. The Devils struggled to close the season, and they have injuries, and it's shown here in the first two games. They're down 2-0 in that series.
Avalanche is playing tonight, correct?
No, tonight it's the key. Oh yeah, Colorado's up 1-0. They're playing the Stars.
Yeah.
I think that series is going to be pretty good. And then Edmonton and the Kings. I think that's a 7-game series. I think that's a 7-game series. I think Edmonton's got to get one tonight though.
Tiki went to the game not last night, but the night before, I believe.
Oh, for game 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, that series should be good.
We should really try to get to one of those games.
Edmonton should be able to get back in the series. So
we should really try to get to one of those games, Rafa. Really.
I'd like to see it. I love fucking watching McDavid. I think he's the best fucking, he's the best player on the planet. Whether people want to argue it or not, he's the best player on the planet.
So tomorrow, NFL draft. We've talked about hockey, baseball, basketball. I'm going to be locked and loaded. Tomorrow, the Raiders will draft an NFL Hall of Famer. I don't know what his name is yet. I have no idea who it is. I don't know who it is, man. But we drafted a Hall of Fame player. And
when was the last time the Raiders drafted a Hall of Famer?
Max Crosby.
Border. You still got plenty of. He's still got a lot more time.
We do have a lot of time.
He's got a lot more time to
go. Wow. Charles Woodson. That's a long time ago, man.
So what, 25 years ago?
That is a long time ago.
That's a long time,
Josh Jacobs isn't.
He's not a Hall of Famer. Are you kidding?
No. I'm just saying, like, he would have to do something incredible the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but no.
He does have a good story.
I don't give a fuck.
Sleeping in a suburban, he just was like Alabama never wanted him. He has a great story.
Charles Woodson is in fact the last Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and yeah.
So tomorrow the Raiders draft the Hall of Famer. That's Eddie's prediction.
Yep. Every year, actually, I predict that every year.
Rafa, your big one is Shador to Miami.
Shador to the Dolphins.
My big one is Mason Graham to the San Francisco 49ers.
CJ, do the Niners are they not better off drafting an edge rusher alongside Nick Bosa?
Like, I don't. Either one is going to be fine for me. Like you're right, like an edge rusher does sound nice, but if Mason Graham is there, you take him.
Is Michael Williams a reach at the Niners pick?
Yes.
Yes.
You don't get me started on the fucking Niners. There's so many fucking holes, Rafa. It's fucking ridiculous. You need an offensive tackle. You need a
Not enough
cornerback.
holes to let me be quiet.
I mean, there are a lot of holes on that team.
Eddie saw
All right.
one non-playoff year and just
One
That's
one
wrong. That's
one
wrong.
one last prediction. One last prediction. Who wins the first night of the draft and who wins the draft?
Ooh.
In your opinion? I'm going to give you mine, and it kind of cheating, but I'm going to say the Cleveland Browns win.
I knew you were going to say that.
The Cleveland Browns win the NFL draft.
Isn't there a team with 3 picks in the first? No, there's no team with 3 picks.
No.
There will be a team that trades down. I'm going to say the New York Giants will find a way to draft Abdul Carter and then sneak back in and maybe get a Shador or a top level running back. I'm going to say the New York Giants because that dude's job is on the line. He better have a good draft.
Do the Jets not have 2 picks in the first round?
They have 7.
No,
they
don't.
do not.
No. Do the Chiefs and Eagles do anything to make a splash?
The Eagles have drafted better than any team in the NFL. Whatever they do, I believe Howie Roseman, I think is his name. He has slayed the draft.
Okay.
And what do the Eagles need?
Defensive tackle.
Next to the another defensive tackle that just completely destroyed the Chiefs.
Yeah, they lost. They lost 2.
Well, the Eagles didn't lose the one that
Jalen Carter.
Yeah, Jalen Carter. He's still there. They
No,
might have lost the end, maybe.
They lost 2 defensive linemen.
Sweat?
So here, I'll tell you who they have at defensive line. Brandon Graham's 37, so he's done.
Yeah, he gone.
Yeah, so they lost Sweat. They don't have they need a defensive end.
Yeah, and this is not a strong year for people are going to reach for the Texas A&M kid who looks like Hercules and plays like Madonna, or he looks great, just no production. There's a bunch of guys from small schools that look amazing but don't have the production on film yet. Defensive end is probably the weakest it's ever been since I can remember.
So
I do.
Do the Chiefs trade up real quick?
They have nothing to offer. I mean, I don't know. The Chiefs are done, man. Stick a fork in their ass.
Well, it's gonna be a great night for the NFL draft tomorrow night. Eddie will be locked in. What time does that start? Ed, 5:00?
5, baby. 5. And
how
if
many
anyone
picks? Listen, Eddie, we need this is what we need, CJ. Tonight we need Eddie's final Raiders mock draft. A final one, Eddie. No trading.
I'll send it tonight. No trading?
Send it. No trading. No trading. Okay.
Man.
We need a final mock draft for yours.
Okay.
And we will, Eddie, make it possible for CJ to post it tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning.
screenshot.
You have to
Tomorrow
post
morning.
it tomorrow morning. Okay. And we're gonna see how Eddie does on his Raiders mock draft. Okay. And then we'll see how it's all said and done when it's all done on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it's over. And we will compare it to Eddie's, and we'll see how many picks Eddie gets. Okay.
Man.
Yes.
It's your time to shine now, Ed. Your time to shine. 177 mock drafts, but this is the one that counts. The one tonight, Eddie. And
I'll give you
a
little insight.
How many picks do the Raiders have?
Well, no, they gave away the 3rd round pick to get Geno, so I think they might have 8.
Okay, so
Or
the Raiders have 8. Let's just say 8 picks, right?
Yeah.
If you hit on 3 of those picks, okay. If you hit on 3 of those picks, I will buy your next round of golf at Angeles.
You're all right. You have
if
nice-
you hit
On a
on,
weekend or weekday?
it doesn't matter. You pick it. You pick it. Doesn't matter.
I got 2 words for you. Billy Bowman, safety out of Oklahoma. 3rd or 4th round. We get
need-
it, Billy Bowman, man.
You got to hit 3. Okay. I'll
Oh,
tell you what.
yeah.
If you hit 3, I'll pay for golf at the Trump for you.
Woo!
You got to hit 3.
Not when they're reseeding everything, right? Not when it's $235.
No. Right now,
Oh, I'll be up all night. This is ridiculous.
the weekday at tea time at 2:30. All right, a tea time at
Yeah.
2:30 on the weekdays right now is like 300.
Oh, perfect.
So
Oh yeah, I love
You gotta hit 3.
assignments. I never was a big homework guy
there.
in school, but this is a great.
Oh, but he's
assignment.
homeworking tonight.
He's homeworking all
Yeah.
fucking night.
He's
no, no.
homeworking
He's about
all
to be like,
night. So
he's
we
about to be
need,
like T-Mac posted
we need the final.
Raiders,
We need
a
the
Raiders post. He
See,
posted it
Before midnight?
2 years ago. Yeah,
The
and
CJ
that's why he's
Yeah.
gonna sneak in there.
CJ. What is the Eddie? If you want to trade, you can trade, but that's all
No,
on
no,
you.
no,
You
no.
gotta hit. You gotta hit.
Trading's too hard.
Okay, all right. So CJ, what deadline do you need it so you can post it?
I need it by before 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
I mean, you just need a screenshot, right?
I need a screenshot.
Oh, I'll send you like 15 of those, and I'll tell you,
I-
don't use that one, don't use that one, don't use that
Don't
one.
send me 15 of them. Send me one.
Send one. Send one.
Yes.
By the way, before we get out of here, Steve McMichael from the Chicago Bears.
No.
Yeah, he passed away.
Oh,
Also, NWO member. I believe he was for
Yeah.
a little bit at WCW.
Yeah.
Yeah, he passed away today at the age of
ALS.
67.
Yeah.
ALS, yeah,
Strongest, yeah.
got him. But
Yeah.
shout out to his family. Prayers to his family. Steve
Man,
McMichael.
that sucks, man. Well, guys, we went 3 hours, and I could go another 3. I love you guys. Thank you, CJ, for stepping up.
yeah, thank-
Rafa, dude, we could just talk sports all fucking day, man.
Yeah, man.
ESPN, which your boy Shannon I know is on the way out. You can hire some new people.
Yeah, man. Hire some fat dudes.
I ain't choking anyone.
Who don't hit on
Barely any
OnlyFans
women.
models.
Me neither. Man, we didn't even talk about that. We didn't even talk about
What are you
it.
gonna
Do they
say?
fire him? Do they fire him or no?
So Stephen A came out today and
Uh-oh.
yesterday and did a whole 20-minute spiel and said that basically that Disney's co-president, said that they are looking at the situation very seriously, and once more information comes out, they will act on it. And essentially, what I took that as is we're waiting for more information to come out so we can fire him.
Listen,
Now has he not been on the show since, or
He was supposed to be. He's on the show. Well, he's on First Take Monday, Tuesdays.
Okay, I didn't know. I
yeah.
didn't know what days he was always on or not.
So we'll see next Monday or Tuesday if Stephen A. But Stephen A. says, he's supporting him. He doesn't know. Yada yada.
Stephen A. said he said he's supporting him.
Stephen
A. said he came out and said, "Wow, that's bold."
Can I say something real quick? I just want to say something real quick.
Of course
Say
you can.
whatever you want.
So listening to the audio, I heard the audio, and he says where he says that he's going to choke her or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he says it again at the end.
Yeah.
And to me, it felt like more like a sexual choke.
Oh,
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
There's a text message.
Okay.
Yeah,
Listen,
no.
before you say that, I only heard the audio. Okay?
No, this is complimenting you. This is complimenting what you just said.
I only heard the audio, and for me, when it gets to the end of the conversation, for me, it sounded like he meant it in a sexual way.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. There was text messages that came out were again explicit. She basically said, "I want you to choke me." She said, "I want to be choked out," and it definitely seemed like the messages were sexual. It's like a sexual thing that they have going.
Have you heard the messages? They came out with another set of messages
I've seen all
today.
I've seen all
today, and those choke were bad. and she sounded like she was on drugs. She sounded slow, like
Yeah, like it didn't
it
sound
was weird.
to me. Oh, based on all the information that has come out, it seems like they had a sexual relationship, and they do like who was the individual, the baseball guy who got in trouble for the
Yes,
heart? It's the same thing.
Exactly.
same
And
thing.
what he's been buried, he's been
Yes,
justified and never let back in.
right.
Now, I'm not going to prejudge, post judge. I'm not going to say he's innocent, guilty, or not. But Trevor Bauer did get prejudged and never exonerated. He is 100% innocent and not let back in the league. Now, two different issues. My issue with Shay Shay, whatever you fuck you want to call him, is that Papa, you're like, how old
60.
are you?
You're about to be 60.
And why you fucking with these? Why, like, assume if you have $100 million in your bank, $50 million in your bank, someone's recording every conversation. To me, he was dumb. And that doesn't mean he should go to jail for life for being dumb. My only issue is he has to be smarter than this.
100%.
That's my only fucking thing, and like Rafa said, I heard it did sound sexual, but the second pairing of video came out, she was really playing on the choke thing. Like, that's a bad look for you, but she sounded all fucking whacked out on drugs, man. And it's gonna be very hard he's gonna pay her. This shit ain't going to court.
Oh, well, he already tried to pay her $10 million beforehand.
Yeah.
10 million?
10 million. He tried to pay her to be quiet.
Who said that?
It's reported.
That's reported. Yeah,
it's reported.
10 million, and she said no.
She wants 50.
She wants 50. She wants half his contract.
Listen, okay, she needs to understand that if he got $100 million contract from whoever, that's not really $100 million.
Yeah.
It's more like 45.
Right.
Okay.
So Rafa, she hired the sleaziest lawyer, like
the same guy who tried.
I looked him up.
Johnny Cochran times 10.
Right.
I mean, it's that's why I don't have a lot of sympathy for him in this situation. I just don't. I don't want him to go. If he is innocent,
yeah, sympathy is not the right word. Like,
it's just like, Papa,
bro, really? Yeah, like old ass.
The thing is, it's not about his age. I don't think it's about his age. What's fucked up, and because his age to me, age doesn't matter.
I agree with you. I'm saying, but this situation is about it. She's 20 years old, and he was messing with her when she was 19. For a lot of people, I agree with you because Bill Belichick is doing the same thing.
It's not only Bill Belichick. It's not only Bill Belichick. It's men who have power or have money that do these things. I don't mind any of that. The thing is,
it's legal
at this point, like where he's at, and he's had and his podcast that he does with Ocho, and it's which is great, by the way. But it's very, sexual oriented. Like there's a lot of shit going on.
On the edge.
You opened yourself to that by banging somebody who's that immature, and it is in for a payday, and she knew it. And that's where he made the mistake. He fuck all the bitches he wants. Good for him.
Who cares?
Yeah,
he's living the American dream.
That is not the American dream.
Not to me. But I agree with you. To me, there is an age factor.
The joke, guys.
I know.
Because of the age gap, I personally don't care as long as it's legal and consensual. But Eddie's right. It's kind of like, bro, come on, you're above this. Like the Michelle thing now. Michelle thing was first, and now this. It's like grow up. It's like your husband's about to be 60.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Tough beat. Well,
that being said, guys,
to watch more.
True, that is true. But because he could do a podcast whatever the fuck he wants. The internet's fucking free.
Yep.
So guys, great fucking show tonight. Great fucking show. Thanks to Tiki. Thanks to Tapia. Thanks to Matt. Anyone who Will. We got to get Will on camera.
We got to get Will on camera. But Rafa, thank you for everything. I hope you shoot an 81 tomorrow.
CJ, thank you for stepping up tonight.
Yes, sir.
Skin Tone, you did an incredible job.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal job, man. Yeah. Eddie, you're fired. We don't need you anymore.
Screw you, Eddie Money.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, fellas. Good
Love
shit.
you guys.
Later.
Oh man.